Hi, everybody. It's Gene Simmons, and you're not, and you're listening to the Potter Than Hell podcast with Steve, BC, BB, and Dylan. But you knew that, didn't you?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is your last stop on the crazy train of hard rock and heavy metal. So sit back, buckle in, and hang on. Here we go.
Hey, Potter Than Hellions, welcome back to the Potter Than Hell podcast. This is Steve, your host, and for the first in about a month, I'm joined by the whole band today. Who we got?
BC.
And
BB.
And our keyboard player returning is
Dylan.
And we have an extra special guest tonight, first time on the podcast, and we're honored to have him. He is a podcast veteran. One of the podcasts this guy has, along with his partner, is one of the main reasons that I wanted to get into podcasting, because these guys' podcast is awesome. We have Chris Czynszak from the Decibel Geek Podcast. What's up, Chris?
Oh, hey, thanks for having me on, and you're too kind.
No, not at all, not at all. And before we get into it, I just wanted to say real quick that in the last couple months, I mean, you guys have been knocking out of the park, all the time. But I really enjoy the Albums Unleashed episodes, and the one with Mick Sweet and the Bullet Boys was just friggin' kick ass, and the one you just did with Damon Johnson was awesome.
Oh, thanks so much. Yeah, the Albums Unleashed, we tend to get a lot of good feedback on, so those will definitely they will stay in the canon, and we will keep doing them, and we're even doing one live on stage in a month.
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah. We're gonna have Ron Keel and Michael Wagner to discuss the 1987 self-titled Keel album.
No shit.
That will happen at the Rock N Pod Expo.
That's going to be awesome. I may just have to just film that.
Well, only if I get a cut of the profit.
Yeah, because we're raking in the cash here, so we'll cut you in for 10%.
Okay, well, you guys are big time now.
Oh yeah, Chris. Before we get going, give us your musical background and tell us about Decibel Geek.
Musical background. I'm a failed musician, like most podcasters. No, as far as Decibel Geek goes, we started 7 years ago in 2011. We cover all kinds of rock topics, not just Kiss, even though Kiss kind of worms their way into pretty much every episode we do. But we just do a variety of stuff. We change the theme up all the time, which may not work great for our numbers because people never know what to expect each week, but it's fun for us and it never gets boring. And we're in the middle of doing our Kissmas in July right now, and I'm actually releasing a new episode tonight that is... If you're a Kiss nerd, it's incredible minutia that you're about to get.
All right, we like that. Same thing with our podcast too. Kiss always seems to get their way into the podcast somehow, and we appreciate you coming here on here with us, and give us the lowdown, cliff notes on the Rock N Pod Expo. You are probably, I would say, the main man. Would you agree?
I would definitely agree. The Rock N Pod Expo, essentially, the expo itself is a one-day celebration of rock and podcasting, and but this year it's turned into like a 3-day thing. The night before the expo, we have a pre-party concert at a place called the Mercy Lounge. We got Frank and Punky from Angel, Tora, Ron Keel, and my good buddy Greg Mangus. He's going to have an all-star cover band, and when I say all-star, I mean people that are going to be playing in his band you've heard of, possibly have bought records by.
Really?
And that's going to be cool. There's going to be, and if you're a Stars fan, show up for Greg Mangus' set because you're going to be happy. I'll just say that. Also, the Expo, Rock N Pod Expo, is Saturday, August 25th at the Nashville Palace. And we've got 1 million people that are going to be guests there, including Michael Wagner, Toby Wright, Frank and Funky from Angel. Tora is going to be there. Ron Keel is going to be there. Anthony Fox from Beautiful Creature, a ton of people. I'm sure you'll put links in your show notes. Also, the podcast will be recording on site all day with some of the guests. Brian Head Welch from Korn's going to be there. That's going to be cool. We're going to have panel discussions all day long. We're going to have raffles and giveaways. I think there's even going to be a Kiss casket sighting again. So a lot of cool stuff's going to be there. Then we have an after party that night with a bunch of metal bands, and Ralph and Ian from Rock and Metal Combat are going to help intro that show. And then the night after, we have a comedy show with Craig Gass, Courtney Cronin-Dold, and Earl Skakel at Zany's. So that's the broad strokes. And if you are anywhere near Nashville and you can do the pre-party and the expo, there's a 2-for-1 deal right now until August 15th. You go to the Mercy Lounge website, mercylounge.com, buy tickets for that pre-party with Punky and Frank, and you will get automatic free entry into the expo the next day.
That's great. Yeah, we're coming down on Thursday, so we will definitely be there for Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Sunday, we probably will have to leave at some point Saturday, but we're definitely going to stay late enough to get to the vinyl show on Sunday.
Oh, cool. Okay.
BC's going to rent a trailer to take all the vinyl home that he's going to buy.
Like a kid at Christmas.
Yeah, there's we're going to have a lot of vinyl at the expo, but yeah, there's also a full vinyl show in the same venue the next day. So between Saturday and Sunday, you're going to have a lot of really cool vinyl and stuff to choose from.
I know, my wife will be killing me. I'll have to open the credit card statement on my own this month. That's for sure. All right, Chris, we appreciate you coming on, and we wanted to get the lowdown on the expo from you, just from the horse's mouth here. We wanted to do this band we haven't talked about too much on the podcast. Here and there we've mentioned them, but we wanted to do an Aerosmith episode. We usually do like 10 or 12 songs of each band, but we figure we're going to do 9. It's going to be the 9 Lives of Aerosmith. It ties in good with their 9 Lives album, and we're all going to pick our top 9 Aerosmith songs, and we'll talk about it. I'm sure we're going to have some crossover, although the text you sent me kind of makes me think that maybe we won't with you.
There's some couple of head scratchers that are on for other people that are on my list, but I'm a specific type of musical listener, so I'll just say I'll make up for it near the top of my list, but the bottom of my list is going to be like, what?
Oh, really?
So
okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's cool. And before we get into that, real quick, Chris, what are you listening to these days? What do you got? What do you got first?
Listening to not much of anything lately because I'm too busy planning an expo. But honestly, latest thing I've been listening to, "Bleed and Scream" by Eclipse.
That's very good.
Yeah, they are one of the best new hopes for rock and roll. They're from Sweden, and if you dug basically it's like I don't know how you could even put it. Like if you like the Whitesnake 1987 album, you will like this. It's
right.
Kind of that same melodic rock metal stuff.
Yeah, they're a great band. They have in a lot of bands over there. Like I wish people would get more into them, because the chances of us seeing any of these bands in the United States is very slim.
Well, until we do Rock N Pod Sweden.
Yeah, really. We're in, definitely. BB, what do you got going?
I picked up the Fastway LP, self-titled album from 1983. Threw that on about 2 hours before we got down here, and as always, still kicks ass and still holds up to the music to today.
Cool. Dylan.
Well, last week I said that I was delving back into Dream Theater. I think I just finished Change of Seasons, so I'm about to get to the end of the Derek Sherinian keyboard run and then into Jordan Rudess. But I've been also branching out into more progressive metal, listening to this band called Haken. And they actually toured with Mike Portnoy when he was doing his 12-step suite that he had with Dream Theater, where it's all about like his journey through alcoholism. So it's a really good band. I've been checking out a couple of their CDs. The Mountain is an album that I've been listening to from them. So they're really good. Progressive metal type stuff.
Are you going to do one of them albums, BC?
One day.
With your journey through alcoholism?
BC's 12-step suite.
12 years.
We can all collaborate on it, I guess. What do you got going, BC?
I've been listening to last 24 hours The Scream.
Nice.
I mean, that's just that just got lost in the shuffle of that album, in my opinion. But John Corabi should have stayed with them and said no to the crew.
But then you wouldn't have the 94
true.
Crew album, though.
He took a Hooligan's Holiday to go with Crew.
Yeah.
I wish they continued The Scream.
That's cool. Chris, did you see John Corabi when he played down in Nashville, correct?
Yes, I did not. This is embarrassing. I did not go to the actual concert because I was I was into a lot of, let's just call them party favors at that time, so I didn't have much money for concerts. But I actually did go to the in-store signing for that album right before the concert, and it was me and about 50 other people that showed up for it.
Oh, that's sad. That's cool, but sad.
Yeah, cool for the people that are there.
Yeah, but I totally love that album. That album is incredible.
That is great, and you can't beat that. And John Corabi is a really nice guy. I mean, we've talked to him at M3. We've talked to him and stuff. A real cool guy. And I talked to him a little bit on the Kiss Cruise 2 years ago. Just a real cool, mellow guy. His music his voice is still top notch, and the stuff with the Dead Daisies is just kick ass. That's cool, BC. And I've been listening to a little bit of Bruce Dickinson solo stuff lately. Mostly Accident of Birth album. Some stuff from Chemical Wedding? Chemical Wedding, yeah. I always want to say Chemical Romance when I say that.
That is a good band, though, that I like.
But just he has some really solid solo stuff, I think. Tattoo Millionaire was a little too poppy for me, but like he got a little heavier. And actually, even Skunk Works is really good. Different, but good. But more grungy. So.
Yeah.
Accident, from there on, he got heavier.
Especially when he hooked back up with Adrian Smith. And I think that once you've seen Bruce in with Adrian again, I think that kind of signaled that he was going to be back in Maiden. For me, anyways. I don't know. What's your thoughts on that, Chris?
As far as Bruce's solo stuff goes, I love Tattooed Millionaire. That's probably my favorite. I mean, I'm in, and this will bleed into our Aerosmith discussion. I like the poppy, glossy production. I think it's. I mean, and I know that's sacrilege for Maiden fans, but honestly, I'm not a giant Maiden fan. So I'll take the Tattooed Millionaire stuff over a lot of Maiden material myself. But I do like the Skunk Works album. Skunk Works album is really good. That's it totally flew under the radar at the time because I don't think anybody. It was just too odd for people to give it a shot. But I think those are the two best things he's done solo wise.
I really like Skunk Works. Like I said, Tattoo Millionaire, I could take or leave. I like the heavier stuff, but I mean, still, hey, it's still Bruce Dickinson.
Sure.
Actually, Tattooed Millionaire is kind of like British Lion is like for Steve Harris. Is like such a departure from what Maiden was. I don't think it really resonated. But if you don't think Iron Maiden when you listen to them albums, they're really good.
They're good, yes.
I
couldn't get into the British Lion thing though.
No. It's not bad. It's not
bad, but I understand what you mean by he could. I can't say I really jumped on board with it, but it's different. It's not bad though.
Yeah.
I'm just when you hear the name Steve Harris or Bruce Dickinson, it's hard not to think Iron Maiden.
This is true. All right, cool. Let's talk some Aerosmith here. We'll get into our picks. And Dylan, you know what? Why don't you start us off tonight?
Okay. Should I start with like how I kind of got into Aerosmith?
Yeah, sure.
The first album that I remember distinctly coming out is 9 Lives. I remember you putting that on the turntable, well, not the turntable, in the CD player quite a bit. And I also really experienced Aerosmith like in the flesh while watching Wayne's World 2. They showed up in that movie and they played Shut Up and Dance at Waynestock. So that was like my first experience with Aerosmith. And then I Don't Want to Miss a Thing hit from Armageddon, and just like the asteroid would have done to Earth, it blew everything up. So starting off my list, I was really proud of myself because I managed to make a list that the first and last songs are from the same album, and then going inwards, they're from the same album. As like it's like a sandwich where like the bread and the meat's the same until the center's like a different album. It's weird to describe, but maybe it'll come through once I actually talk about the song.
You'll post a chart.
Yeah, I'll post a chart. The first song I'm talking about is off of Pump, Young Lust. It's a song that kicks you right in the face to start off the album. In my opinion, it's kind of overshadowed by some of the poppier elements of that album, but it's a nice rocking song to get you started and to get you right into Aerosmith, and I think it's a great way to open up my list. Guitar working, it's great. Steve sounds awesome.
Cool.
What can you say?
Thoughts?
Well, that was one of the ones on my.
I see BC scribbling over there.
BC's going to audibles already.
I agree. No, that was one of my audibles down, but like you said, it starts off that album and just sets the tone.
Sets the tone for the whole album in the guitar work, and it's really, really good too.
Chris?
I have thoughts, but I'll share them later.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds good. I enjoy the song. I think it's cool. It's a good start to the album. Chris, give us yours.
My number 9, or should I say how I got into Aerosmith?
Yeah. Give us your little Aerosmith story, and then you can go whoever you want, top to bottom, bottom to top. It's up to you.
It's funny. I'm not a rap fan at all, but you could blame Run DMC for me becoming an Aerosmith fan because I was one of those kids that saw the Walk This Way video when it was brand new. And I had no clue who Aerosmith was until I saw that video on MTV. And I remember seeing it and loving the guitar playing and thinking, I have to know who this is. And then it felt, I think it was like within a year, Dude Looks Like a Lady hit MTV. And once that hit, I was hooked. And then like I had friends that were older than me. They were like, yeah, that's cool and all, but you need to go back and listen to the older stuff. And that's when I got into the older stuff. But I'm a big fan of 80s Aerosmith. I know the Desmond Child era of the band turned off a lot of diehards, but I love a lot of that stuff. So that was how I got into them. My number 9 song, fittingly, is off Permanent Vacation, and this is one of the quote-unquote head-scratchers. Angel is my number 9 Aerosmith song. It is, I love power ballads. I always have. Maybe I have too much estrogen. I don't know. But I have always, if it's a well-written power ballad that just makes the hair stand up on your arms, it's for me. And this is one of Desmond Child's best songs. And I think Joe Perry's guitar playing, and especially his solo on this song, takes it to a completely other level from other 80s power ballads. Because he's doing like this really clean solo on it, and it's almost bluesy-ish. It's not a shredder solo in the least. And I think that you combine that solo with the melody line for Angel, and you have, in my opinion, one of the better ballads of the entire decade. I think this song is awesome. So yeah, number 9, Angel from Permanent Vacation.
Cool. That is a good song. And now that you say that, like the solo in that it's definitely a standout solo compared to what was out there at the time.
I can remember that song at the Y dances. The local YMCA would have dances every Friday night, and I remember back in like 1987 or 1988, that was one of the big songs that they would play.
I think BB felt the first boob. Listen to that.
I think I did.
It's BB's second bass song.
Yeah.
You're
Second
my
base
angel,
song.
Randy.
You're my angel. I think that was your boob.
Sorry.
Incidental contact.
Yeah.
All right, good pick. Excellent pick. BC,
My pick?
go ahead. Unless you want to talk about Angel some more.
No, I mean, that was my alcoholic years, so.
As opposed to now.
Opposed to now. I don't know. I have no order, so I'm going to go with Think About It off of Nights in the Ruts. I mean, just the bass in it. I mean, the bass in that album. The bass in it and the guitar solo, I think, in that song is just... Are you familiar with it?
Bass. Actually, that song is not... I know I've heard it. It's not ringing a bell with me. It's not one that I'm going to have to...
Which song?
Think About It off of Night in the
Think of
Ruts.
it.
It's a
Think
cover.
about it. No.
It's a cover.
It is not a cover.
No, I'm gonna say
It is. It has on here. It's written by Keith Reef, Jimmy Page, and
Is it
Jim
a cover?
McCarty.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, it is a cover.
How did I get by that?
I think it's a Yardbird song.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's right.
Fuck, I still like it.
We'll still keep it. We'll keep it. We'll keep
No
it.
covers, BC.
I took a bunch off there. I could have sworn that.
I'm not really familiar with that song.
Right.
Dylan, I know you're a big Night in the Ruts fan.
Yeah, Night in the Ruts is one of my favorite Aerosmith albums. That is a really good song. Why did I think that was an Aerosmith original? And hey, it's
It's their
it's
own
the
album.
one good Aerosmith album that doesn't have as much from Joe Perry because he was in the process of leaving the band and he didn't play on all the songs.
He was getting ready to leave.
But they still managed to create a really good sound despite one of their key elements, leaving the band. So I think that's a really good song to showcase. Brad Whitford's playing because he sometimes is pushed back to the background a little bit. There's certain songs, one of which might come up later on, that Brad Whitford really gets to shine on. But I really love this album. And Think About It is a really good song. Second to last on the album, I think, too.
All right.
Yes.
Cool. Are you familiar with that one, Chris?
Oh yeah, I love Night in the Ruts. That's one of my favorite Aerosmith albums.
It's great, and it's actually one of the kind of under the radar Aerosmith albums you don't really hear a lot about, but the songs are freaking great on it. Cool, good pick, BC. BB.
All right, well, Chris, you're not too far off from myself. The first time I remember hearing Aerosmith was also with the Run DMC song. So this is why pretty much all of my songs are late Aerosmith. So my first one is going to be off of Get Your Wings from 1974.
That's not late Aerosmith. That's like
the second album.
I mean early, yeah. I know, 1974, that's real late.
All my songs are late, so anyways, here's the first ever song I ever put.
Were you even born then? What year were you born?
72.
Oh, okay, all right. You were 2.
Yeah.
Ed was playing this when you were in the crib.
It was. Yeah, so off the 1974 album, their Get Your Wings album, the song Lord of the Thighs. The first time I heard this song, it really grabbed me. It has a really cool intro with the really soft drums, the bass and guitar kick in, and it even towards the middle of the song, Steven Tyler plays a little piano in there, throws that around in there, and the way he says "Lord of the Thighs" in that raspy Boston accent.
Is that your third bass
really
song?
Cool. That's the steel sign.
Great song. I think that was going to be one of my picks, but I think we talked about it, and you were definitely going to pick that one. Great song. And actually I love the version of that on live bootleg. Freaking great live.
Yeah, Lord of the Thighs is a classic. Definitely one of the better songs on the first 2 albums, which their songs are okay, but they're not to the level that Aerosmith would get to. I think Lord of the Thighs is a nice precursor song to what would become the band.
Sure.
Yeah.
I agree. I mean, I was going to make my list, but I stayed away from it because I think
Stayed away from the thighs.
stayed away from the
Oh, BC.
for once in my life.
Boy, oh boy.
Chris.
Get Your Wings is a hell of an album, and I have thoughts on it, but they will be shared later.
All right. Cool. I'm going to go with actually a song from the same album also from 1974's Get Your Wings, written by Steven Tyler and Joe Perry. Same old song and dance. And this song always resonates with me because it's the first Aerosmith song that I ever heard from the first Aerosmith album that I ever heard. And I think it's just a great song. It's got a cool riff. And I was trying to pinpoint when I heard this album first. And I pinpointed it to either late July or early August of 1977 when I was in California visiting my cousins. And that trip was I've talked about it before, it was my first branching away from Kiss. Because my cousin, I went out there. I mean, you didn't have your iPod then. You didn't have even a Walkman then. CDs weren't even invented. And I'm not going to take my vinyl Kiss that I had out to California. So I was dying to listen to some music. So I'm going through my cousin's albums, and I checked out Aerosmith, Get Your Wings that trip. Styx, Grand Illusion, and Frampton Comes Alive were the 3 albums that I really listened to out there. And when I put Aerosmith on and Same Old Song and Dance came on, it was great. And the weird thing was, it was like, holy shit, that's not a guitar solo in it. It's like a friggin' saxophone solo. Mm-hmm. And and that song has always just been one of my favorite Aerosmith songs. So I definitely had to put that first on there.
And it's a classic for a reason. I love the way that Steven Tyler sings Coincidental Moida. It's like, he's got that twang to it that really sells you. Like, there's a lot of character in Steven Tyler's vocals, and this song really showcases that. And it's like I said, it's a classic Aerosmith song for a reason, and it's another one that showcases what they would become.
Cool. Chris.
Oh, that's a great pick. I mean, I don't know, Aerosmith in the 70s, they're kind of the definition of swagger. They're a bunch of white guys from Boston, but you could swear there's something else going on there. But like that, I don't know, that song is great. You can't help but nod your head when you hear that song. And that song is a good, testament to the chemistry of the band from back in the early days. And they had a magic formula back in those days. And I can listen to any 70s era Aerosmith album and enjoy everything. Even if there's stuff that didn't make my list, I don't know that there's any really songs that I would say are terrible. There's not nearly as much filler on the early version of the band. So, yeah, that song, anytime that comes on the radio, I always crank it up. It's a really catchy tune for them.
I agree. That was on my list too. So another one. God, but like you said, that's a catchy song.
Cut down on time.
Oh, I still got 10,000 songs.
He's still good. He's still good.
But there's a song that comes on, like you said, Chris, and you just get into it. You just turn it up. I mean, it's no matter how many times you hear it, you don't get sick of it.
Absolutely not.
No.
Yeah, definitely a great way to start the album off, and they're pretty much one of their second album. And what a great song to do it with. And even today, it still stands the test of time. And, back from 1974, putting it out now, you still hear it on the radio. And like everybody else has said, it's, just a cranking tune.
Good pick.
All right, good pick. Dylan, what do you got next?
Did you just say that you... Did you say good pick to yourself?
Huh?
He's giving himself a little
I did.
Good job, B.
Good job, Steve. I did. I wanted to stretch my arm, pat myself in the back.
Well, speaking of good picks...
I said that because BC also picked it.
The next song I picked is considered one of Slash from Guns N' Roses' favorite Aerosmith songs. James Hetfield from Metallica's one of his favorite Aerosmith songs.
Can I say it?
Brad Whitford's favorite Aerosmith song. What is it?
No More, No More.
No, it's Nobody's Fault off of Rocks.
Oh, that's right.
They're probably one of their darkest feeling songs. It's kind of got that like mood to it that you don't really see in Aerosmith songs. It's not like the bright and chipper Boston swagger.
It's kind of brooding.
It's like back alley, I'm gonna beat the shit out of you swagger. Like Joey Kramer like really lays down some awesome drum work on this song. I love Tom Hamilton's bass runs on this song, and Brad Whitford and Joe Perry, they work so well. They work in harmony in this song, and like Steven Tyler, like I love I would call it the chorus, like the vocal harmonies during that with I can't do it. I'm gonna cut that out because that's me trying to sing. But like the vocals mesh so well in this song, and I love Rocks. It's either my favorite or my second favorite album from Aerosmith, depending on the day. So, Nobody's Fault.
Excellent pick. That's a great song. That's definitely one of the better songs there. And Vince Neil actually does a version of that on one of his solo albums.
So does LA Guns.
So does Testament.
Testament does do it. I remember that.
And that's a great cover, I think.
Chris.
Oh, that's a good pick. And I was going to mention the Vince Neil cover because it's funny. I like Vince Neil's cover songs a lot more than his original material because he always does so good at covering songs. But the Tattoos and Tequila album is a must if you don't have it. But no, yeah, Nobody's Fault's a great song. In the Rocks album, which I'll get to in a minute, but yeah, the Rocks album, if you don't have that album in your collection, there's something wrong with you.
That's I remember in Slash's autobiography, he was like making out with the girl in his car, and Aerosmith Rocks was playing on the radio, and he's like, "Wait, no, I need to stop and listen to this." And the girl got pissed. So like, it's an album that inspired young Slash.
Yeah, for sure.
Great pick. All right, Chris, what do you got next for us?
Well, I'm going to stay on the Rocks album. And this is one, I guess I would call it a head scratcher because for Decibel Geek, we're known for not picking the singles or whatever. But this is a single that no matter how many times the radio plays it, I will never get sick of it. And I think it's one of the best representations of Aerosmith in the 70s. I'm talking about Back in the Saddle. I think this, if you look up the word swagger in the dictionary, this song would be in it. And Dylan, you're a guy from my own heart because it's proof positive of the rhythm section of Aerosmith never gets enough credit. It's always about Tyler and Perry. That's funny, Tyler Perry. But Hamilton and Kramer do not get enough credit, and this song is evidence on why. Listen to the bass line and the drum part to this song. You got Kramer doing that off-time, almost disco drum beat during the verses, and then Tom Hamilton's basically his bass line is the riff in the song. And this song just kicks ass all the way around. This song could get played 1,000,000 times on the radio, and I would always crank it up and never skip it. Back in the Saddle, that's my number 8.
That is an excellent pick, and you're right. That's one of the few songs that you do hear all the time that you don't skip it. It comes on and you just rock to it and you let it play.
I gotta agree. I mean, 70s Aerosmith. No matter how many times you hear the song, you don't get sick of it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Something
another
that-
great way to open the album as well. You know, these guys are hitting home runs. Their first song out of the box of these albums that we're talking about.
Yeah, I as a bassist, I always listen for the bass lines, and Tom Hamilton really shines on this song. I think you're absolutely right, Chris. I absolutely think that Steven Tyler's vocals too are really up there on this song. Like, I'm not gonna imitate them because I've tried that already. So, but God, it's a song that showcases everybody in the band.
Great pick. And Chris, you mentioned that you guys are not the guys to pick the singles, and we are not either. But like, there are certain ones that you definitely don't mind.
No, yeah, I mean, if it's great, it's great.
All right, cool, good pick, Dylan. BC
It wasn't me; it was Chris that picked.
or
that
Chris? I'm sorry. You spoke last. I'm sorry. It's been a long week.
We don't have
All right,
Paul.
I'm sorry, Chris. Awesome job. BC,
Thank you.
what do you got for us, buddy?
Okay, my next one's going to be from off of one of my top 3 Aerosmith albums, Toys in the Attic, Sweet Emotion. I mean, like another one that you, like, no matter how many times you hear it, you automatically turn it up. Come on, how can you go wrong with this song?
Yeah, definitely. I love this album. This is a great album, and "Sweet Emotion" is another iconic Aerosmith song that still, as all these songs that we're going to talk about, it still stands with any music anybody's making today, and you can always still throw it on and turn it up to 11 and jam out.
All right, cool.
Another iconic bass line.
Yes.
It's about Steven Tyler being pissed off about Joe Perry's wife.
Yeah, she threw out one of their wives or something like that.
Damn woman.
You can hear the
The
you can
Yoko
kind of hear
Ono of
the
Aerosmith.
you can kind of hear the venom in his vocals a bit, but it's a good song. We actually heard Alice Cooper sing it with Hollywood Vampires, and that was the weirdest thing.
Yeah, it was
Weird but
different.
cool.
It was cool, but it was different.
I love the
Yeah.
like going into the second the last
Yeah,
part
the
of the
solo,
song.
the time change in the end is great. Chris,
Oh, this song, I mean, this is another single that you can't really deny. I mean, it's a great song either way. But you're right. If you've never read the book Walk This Way about Aerosmith, it's if you are interested in Aerosmith in the least, read the book Walk This Way, and you will come to the same conclusion that I did, that Steven Tyler and Joe Perry are in love with each other. Like, they truly are. Like, it's the most dysfunctional marriage of any musical partnership you'll ever read. But yeah, Steven Tyler hated the fact that Joe Perry had a steady girlfriend and wrote this song out of sheer hatred about his girlfriend. It wound up being an awesome song, but I think, if I remember right, Tom Hamilton was doing like a bass warm-up pattern, and that's how the intro to the song started. So it just shows that, a song idea can come from anywhere. But yeah, I think Tom Hamilton and Joey Kramer are kind of like, unheralded heroes of the band. But yeah, Sweet Emotion, and I love that it got remember when they redid the video for they did a video for it with like the phone sex thing that came out like the late 80s?
Yeah.
and then it was they showed the sexy lady, then it was like this large woman at the end, right? It was
Ironing clothes and
Yes.
holding a kid or something.
Yeah.
But I love the fact that the song really got a new life because of that video. Like, all of a sudden, all these teenagers, including myself, were really into Sweet Emotion, and I think that was a brilliant move on Aerosmith's part, because it was like a brand new single all of a sudden.
I totally forgot about that
forgot
video.
that,
I
right.
definitely I'll have to post that.
And something else I really like about the song is like the way the talk box is used in it. It's not like
It's like kind of underneath.
Yeah, it's not like Frampton talk box, which I love. It's more of like an effect to add to the mood of that beginning and like
Right, not
really-
a big point of the song.
Yeah.
Awesome pick, BC. Wow.
That was
BC
great.
showing up
Way to
tonight.
go,
The
BC.
band is back together again.
We're proud of you.
Good job. All right, BB.
All right. To cut down on a little bit of time here, I also, like Dylan, picked "Nobody's Fault" off of 1976's album "Rocks." The song is actually about earthquakes. If you didn't know that, it's kind of funny how they turned that around on there when you listen to the lyrics. Because I always thought that they say "sorry" in that song like 5 times, and I always thought the name of the song was "Sorry." But yeah, it's about earthquakes. But that's probably their freaking heaviest song in their catalog.
Yeah, it really is. And it's weird because one of my favorite Led Zeppelin songs is "Nobody's Fault But Mine." So maybe I like songs that talk about nobody's fault.
That's really nice. Yeah. All right. Okay. Good pick. We'll move along. My next pick is gonna also. I might as well stick with the Toys in the Attic album, and I have to say that Toys in the Attic is my favorite Aerosmith album. It was actually the first Aerosmith album that I owned, which is weird because I had heard "Get Your Wings" and I ended up picking up Toys in the Attic because I think I kind of liked the cover. I thought it was cool, and there's not a bad song on this album. I don't think there's a bad song on here, but I'm going to pick kind of under the radar pick on here, Adam's Apple. I absolutely fucking love this song. It is so cool. It's catchy. It's just a great song. The band is firing on all cylinders, and I love at the end when Steven's singing like "Love at First Bye," and he just like does that scream. It came on in the car today because I did a playlist, and I told my wife, I said, listen to this part, and she's like, what? And I'm like, just listen. And he did the scream, and she's like, oh, that was pretty cool. And it's just a great song, and that's always been one of my favorite Aerosmith songs. I always just liked that, and it was always one that you kind of never really heard about, like other than like a deep track on an album.
Yeah, it definitely got buried by all the other great songs on Toys in the Attic. I definitely think it should have gotten more recognition than Big 10 Inch, which, like, it's just a novelty song, people. It's not that great. But
Big 10 Inch!
Adam's Apple was a genuinely good, not as well-known Aerosmith song, I think.
Agreed.
Another one that's on my list.
Sorry, B.
Yeah, mine too.
But great song. I mean, like you said, I mean, it's in one of my top 3 Aerosmith albums.
Yeah, it's just a great underrated tune that, you know, there's so many good songs on that album. It kind of gets hidden, you know. But yeah, it was made my list, so it's, you know, cool. We must be pretty good for a reason.
Chris.
Oh man, I mean, this shows you how great Aerosmith is because I've got 10 songs that are what I call also rans that didn't make my top 9, and it's not in there, but this song absolutely rules. So that tells you how good Aerosmith is.
Yeah.
All right, was that on your list also, BB?
It was.
All right. Where are we at now?
It's my turn.
Dylan, go ahead.
My next song is off of one of my favorite Aerosmith albums, Night in the Ruts. This is actually one of my favorite Aerosmith songs of all time. I absolutely shocked and chagrined that it didn't get the recognition it deserves. 3 Mile Smile, the lead-off track of side 2. The riff in this song is so good. It's like one of my favorite Aerosmith riffs. And the way that the drums pick up at the end of the song, like, really just drive it forward. And Joe Perry's solos in this song is just phenomenal. And it's got such a groove to it that I always look for in an Aerosmith song. And the backing vocals are cool. I love the way that Steve Tyler sings that chorus. It's one of my favorite Aerosmith songs, and it should have been bigger than it was.
I gotta agree. I mean, that's another. Like I said, I got into Music Kiss, and then I keep tricking, but it was the same time frame. Somebody mentioned Aerosmith, and like I said, there's just so much of the '70s stuff that is underrated, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, great tune. This one, it seemed like I listened to it once, and there was like a couple songs that kind of stuck with me, but this was definitely one of them. Maybe it's one of those that has to grow on you, and once it grows on you, you like it better than your favorite.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a great tune, Aerosmith tune.
Cool. Chris.
It's one of the rare times that Aerosmith decided to stop singing about their penis and actually talk about something topical. if you weren't around in the late 70s, you wouldn't know, but it was about the 3 Mile Island accident that happened with a nuclear generator back in, gosh, what was it, 78 or 79, I think.
Yeah.
And, it's a great song. And Night in the Ruts it's a lost classic album because everyone's like, oh, Joe Perry left the band, so it's not worth listening to. No, there's a lot of stuff worth listening to on that album. And 3 Mile Smile is one of those. I love the song.
Yeah, that is a really cool song. Is that about 3 Mile Island?
Yeah. It is.
It is? Because I remember when that happened. I was like 9-10 years old when that happened. And I'll tell you what, people were crapping in their pants when that shit happened. It was like the first time that ever happened, at least I think in the United States, and people were like freaking out. And hey, no one died, I don't think, and we got a good song out of it.
No one died, I think.
All right, cool, good pick. And Chris, what do you got up for us next?
Dylan already touched on it, but number 7 is Young Lust from the Pump album. I just have particular memory of this because I got into the band. Walk This Way was a Run DMC single, so I didn't really have an album to buy, and then I bought Permanent Vacation after it came out. So the Pump album was the first album by Aerosmith that I bought the release day, and I remember buying this, tearing open the cassette wrapper, and listening to it in the car, and this was the first song I heard, and I think it stands up to some of the 70s material. I think it's one of, even though the mix is pretty glossy, I think it's an attitude-filled song that stands up with some of the early day stuff, and so yeah, Young Lust is my number 7.
It does, good pick. Like we said, we did discuss that before. Really cool pick though. Chris, you got a good list going here. I'm liking it, even though I'm not a big ballad guy, but Angel still is cranking. Back in the Saddle, you can't go wrong. Young Lust, excellent. Got a good groove going here. BC, what do you got up for us next?
I'm gonna go with an album that really just blew my head off when I got it. 1985's Done with Mirrors opening track. Let the music do the talking. I mean, there was a lot of hype with this album coming out, so of course I got it as soon as it came out. And you put that on, and it's poof, and there's not a bad song on that album. I wanted to make my whole list that album, but I thought I'd branch out a little bit.
Break it up a little bit.
But Let the Music just that sets the tone for that album. I guess they considered their comeback. I don't know.
That I believe that is, a lot of people consider Permanent Vacation their comeback album. I really think it was the first album when Joe Perry and those guys came back. And I think it's a strong album to start the front. Let the Music Do the Talking is a song that was on one of the Joe Perry Project albums. But it's just a great song. But it's not totally the same because Steven Tyler has a co-write on it. But it is just a fantastic album. That was the tour that I actually got to see Aerosmith for the first time. And when I do my next pick, I'll get into that a little more. But excellent pick. Chris, what's your thoughts on Done with Mirrors?
This is where BC and I are going to differ. I couldn't pick any song off this album. This one just doesn't work for me. I've tried to get into this. This album and Cheap Trick's The Doctor are like two 80s albums that every year I put it on once and try to convince myself that I like it, and it never works out. So, I think it's a good try. There's riffs here and there that I like, and I do think your pick of Let the Music Do the Talking is good, but I didn't put it on my list because I consider it more of a Joe Perry track than an Aerosmith track. But I do like the Aerosmith version much better with Steven singing it. But no, I think it's a decent album, but it didn't make my list.
Okay, cool. BB, what do you think?
I like it. I like that song. My next pick may be on that album. But once again, we're talking about an opening track. Aerosmith is not going to ball out of the park with their opening tracks on all these albums because it seems like all these songs are just making our list.
Well, my next song is going to be an opening track, but I do like this version better than the Joe Perry Project version. I think Steven adds a layer of vocals that
The dimension
doesn't quite happen with the Joe Perry Project. I didn't pick anything off of Done with Mirrors because I knew that BC would either pick the whole thing, or or that my dad would pick a lot. So I didn't touch that album, but I do think it is good. I need to listen to it a couple more times to really let it sink in. But I think it's a good album, and that's a good song to pick.
All right, cool, good pick. BB, what do you got next for us, my friend?
All right, well, since we're on Done with Mirrors, I'll keep the ball rolling. Since BC picked the opening track, I'm going to pick the closing track, The Hop.
Yeah.
I think it has a great beat. Personally, I think it's probably the heaviest song on the album. I think it's pedal to the metal, fast, right, start to finish. And I love towards the end he does that fast harmonica thing, and it just showcases his harmonica abilities, how quick he plays that. It's almost as like it replaces a guitar solo. He does like a harmonica solo almost, and it's phenomenal. So we'll do the bookends. We'll do the bookends of the Done with Mirrors.
Like it.
All right, cool. I definitely enjoy that song. I love the time change at the end. Although I will say though, that's not the actual closing song on there, because the song "Darkness" is actually the last song on there. I think it's not available on the LP. I guess
Vinyl now.
because I remember I picked up the CD and cassette only, because I remember that song on there. And but the Hop is great though. The Hop is just, and actually that's one of the few songs that the whole band has a writing credit on.
I'm not as familiar with the Hop as Let the Music Do the Talking, so I don't want to say anything and sound stupid for not knowing what I'm talking about.
That's all right.
I mean, I agree with BB, just kick-ass tune. It is the last one on the vinyl.
Yeah.
I'll say I was listening to the vinyl.
You'll see.
Stop making BB
Actually,
feel
I
bad.
have the vinyl at home. I'm gonna have to look. I didn't even notice that.
I picked up cassette that.
Oh, did you? Yeah. I just got that on vinyl for like $5.
BB's done with you.
I'm going to look at that too. I never noticed it.
Anything on that, Chris, or are you still in the same stance on that?
Yeah, it's all right.
All right, cool. I'm going to go with. I'm going to slide back to the Rocks album. Definitely, probably one of my top 3 Aerosmith tracks of all time. I had never heard this. I don't know why. The first time I saw Aerosmith was in actually May 1st, 1986. They played up in Binghamton, the Broome County Arena. And I remember I was with my old girlfriend at the time. I had a baseball game that day. I pitched a one-hitter, changed my clothes in the car going up to Binghamton. Saw Aerosmith and Ted Nugent open up for him. It was the Done with Mirrors tour for Aerosmith, and it was the Little Miss Dangerous tour for Ted. Friggin' kick-ass concert. And they opened up with this song, and I never had heard this song before. I don't know. I must have been slacking on my Aerosmith at the time. And they opened up the set with Rats in the Cellar. Absolutely love that song. It kicks ass, and I think Steven Tyler is at his best when he's singing fast. I love when he just bang, 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 belts out the lyrics, and I think it's just a phenomenal song. Kick ass. It's got the guitar, it's got the harmonica, it's got friggin' everything in it. It's everything that I would want in an Aerosmith song, and it brings right through. And these guys know me. I absolutely positively fucking hate rats, but there's so many songs out there that have rat in the title that I absolutely love, which is really just drives me insane. But I absolutely one of my favorite Aerosmith songs.
Yeah, I think what always grabs me when that song starts, for some reason I think of like Rainbow Rising. It has like a rainbow feel in the beginning, right before it kicks in, and it just grabs you. So you'll have to go back and listen to it now.
Another one off my list.
Yeah.
Me and Steve are on the same page when it comes to Aerosmith here, but again, just a great song in my book, and off one of my top 3 favorite Aerosmith albums.
Yeah, Rats in the Cellar. It's off of rock, so it can't be bad. I do like it as like a mirror of Toys in the Attic in terms of like the title, and it's the chorus is cool. I love the harmonies on that, and the guitar work on it is just fast and loose and just perfect.
Chris.
Oh, that's a underrated Aerosmith tune, and it's the guitar solo is incredible on it. And podcasting factoid. I'm a fan of Adam Carolla's podcast. He's like one of the biggest ones, and he's actually not a fan of hard rock, but he raves about this song repeatedly. And if you're impressing him, that's pretty good. But yeah, I think it's a really underrated song that really flies under the radar. No, I love it. I think it's a great track.
All right. Hey, see that? We're agreeing now. There we go. You're just glad it wasn't on Done with Mirrors.
Well, yeah, that would be different.
Absolutely. Cool. All right. We'll do one more pick, and then we'll get into our hidden gems. So, Dylan, go ahead.
My next song is a song I first heard on A Little South of Sanity. It's the opening track of Get a Grip, Eat the Rich. Starts off with like this cool atmospheric, almost like tribal type thing, and then like the guitar comes in with the and then the bass comes in and follows the same riff, and it's such a cool sound. And then the song just speeds on through right to the end. One of my favorite Aerosmith songs. I absolutely love the riffs on this song. The solos in it are great. It's another song that Steven Tyler has kind of a fast singing to it, and the subject matter is kind of cool too. You know, and it's a fan favorite. Everybody loves it, even though it wasn't like a mega hit single. Like, it gets you pumped up listening to it.
I mean, yeah, that was another one that I picked, but we're going some audibles here. But I mean, like you said, that just when it kicks in. I mean, and I think I saw him for that tour that year, but that's back in the early stages.
Many years ago.
That's chapter 3 of the alcoholic years.
Yeah, great tune. Actually, they released 7 songs off this album. What a great testament of this band that they can release seven songs out of half of the album they released as actual singles. So 1993 is a really good year for Aerosmith.
Really good Aerosmith year.
That's very cool. I was in high school when this came out, so I have pretty fond memories of this record. And this actually made my also ran list. Didn't make my top 9, but I do love this song in particular. And if you can't enjoy a song that says "Take your Grey Poupon, my friend, and shove it up your ass," I don't know what's wrong with it.
Absolutely. Yeah, this album actually came out. It's like 25 years old this year, because this album came out like a month before I started my career at the fire department. And I always just remember I love the production on this album. It's produced by Bruce Fairbairn, that we all know produced Psycho Circus. Love it or hate it. But it's definitely an album of its time, I think. The production, I love the production. Like Dylan said, the drums, I think sound freaking excellent on this album. And I like it. It's a little more the modern type Aerosmith songs, like kind of getting away from the classic feel. And I think the production has a lot to do with that. And but I just like it. I think it's a really cool song. And like I said, take your Grey Poupon and shove it up your ass is like a friggin' classic Aerosmith line. You're just like, fuck yeah. Very cool. Absolutely great pick, Dylan. Great pick. Chris, what do you got for us?
Okay, so Night in the Ruts is one of my favorite Aerosmith albums. And it's weird because I don't know if it's the same way with you guys, but for some reason I tend to gravitate towards albums that were made during really bad internal strife for bands. I don't know why it works out that way, but it does. And Night in the Ruts is no exception. The band was going through a lot of turmoil, but I think Chiquita is one of the best songs of the band from that era. And I will say there is a caveat to this. I love this song, but if it were up to me and I could play producer, I would take those damn horns off the song. The horns on this song just ruined the song, but it still made my top 9 even with the stupid horn playing. But I don't know if they added that because of Joe Perry being not involved anymore or what, but Chiquita is a great song and it made my top list.
It's Night in the Ruts, so it's not bad. Yeah, the horns are a little weird. I think they're not the worst thing in the world, but I could see how you could see they're a little out of place. But I love the chorus of it. It's such a catchy, simple chorus. Steven Tyler showing his vocal chops yet again. Yeah, Chiquita's not a bad song in the slightest, and I could absolutely see it being on a favorite list.
Yeah, this album just like outside my top 3 Aerosmith, but like you said, just a great feel to the song, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest. I always skip this song because of the horns.
I don't blame you.
But Chris, now that you say,
Embrace the horn.
Now that you mention that and take out the horns, it would be a really cool song.
All right,
Yeah.
and sorry, fellas, I kind of like the horns. in this song.
Oh.
I don't know why. I'm always a fan of a little bit of a different something thrown into a song, whether it be something like that. As long as it's not like overtakes the song, which I don't think it does. I don't think it takes away from the song. I kind of like it how they're kind of mixed in there. But it is a cool song, and we talked about it before. Night in the Ruts is a very underrated album. I think it's just a great album, and if you like Toys in the Attic and Rocks, give Night in the Ruts a chance if you haven't really listened to it. It's just a good goddamn album. Good pick,
Thank you.
Dylan or BC.
I'm gonna reach into my bag here and pull. Let's see what comes out. How about Toys in the Attic from Toys in the Attic from 1975?
I thought that was from Get Your Wings.
Nah, it's Toys in the Attic. But like I think Steve mentioned it before, like Steven Tyler, when he's just batting out the vocals, seems to be better than if he just drags it out. Which I have to agree with you on that one. And I believe that's that. I'm drawing a blanker.
Once again.
Yes.
Yeah.
And again, I mean, like you said, Aerosmith they know how to start off albums. Not too many times do they have a crappy song after album.
No.
Some do, but not Aerosmith. Chris, Toys.
Oh, well, I mean, it's pretty undeniable. It's a revved up tune that never gets old and doesn't get enough radio airplay, even though it was a single. But no, you can't go wrong with Toys in the Attic. It's a great pick.
Yeah, I love it. I love this song, and once again, it's still radio played around here today,
Baseline.
and it's still standing the test of time like a lot of these songs are. But and we already talked about it. What a way to start off the album again.
REM does a cover of it. If you guys ever listen to it,
No.
it's kind of cool.
Is it REM-ish?
You'll have to listen to find out.
Oh boy.
God. Be afraid. Be very afraid.
Try it once.
Yeah. It's a
REM,
great song,
really?
though. Yeah, REM.
I love it. Just like I said before, I think that I consider Toys in the Attic my favorite Aerosmith album, and what a great way to start it off. And I love the end part where it just like chugs along and the harmonica comes. It's just a freaking great goddamn song.
Baseline.
Love it. Yeah, it is. And like Chris said before, that the rhythm section of Aerosmith does not really get as much credit as they totally deserve. And this is a song that definitely showcases how just a chugging machine that these guys are.
Yeah.
Good pick. BB, you used up your 4 already.
All right.
So we'll go to my 4th pick here. Let's see, where should I go? I'm gonna go to the 9 Lives album, I think, on this one here.
Here we go now.
An album that I think is a great album. I really enjoy it. I love how the album begins. But this is kind of a different song for these guys. A song called Crash. It is just such a crazy, eclectic, rocking song. There's a drum percussion part in the middle. It sounds like they're fucking banging garbage cans, I think it sounds like in there. And just a really cool rocking song, and it is just excellent. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it at all, but it is a freaking rocking song.
Crash I don't remember off of 9 Lives. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
It's
Chris, you got to have some love for this. Are you familiar with it?
I'm familiar with it. It's been a while since I've heard it, but I remember liking it. It didn't make my list, but I do remember liking the song.
I'm not familiar with that one either.
I'm telling you guys, check this song out. I
that's a
absolutely love
terrible
it.
way to go to Hidden Gems.
I know. killing me.
There's your hidden gem.
Like after
My hidden
what?
gem is Crash by Aerosmith.
Crash by Aerosmith.
After Get a Grip, I kind of
BC checked out of the Aerosmith.
checked out
out of the
for
Aerosmith hotel after
He lost his grip.
after permanent vacation. And BC checked out of the
I lost the grip after next.
and he started to pump. All right, you guys, no love for Crash. That's okay. I'm used to it. But seriously, it is a good song. It's a different kind of Aerosmith song, I think. And like I said, the percussion part in the middle is just so different. And it seriously sounds like they're like banging fucking garbage cans in it. And it sounds freaking cool. All right, and there's the first part of our 9 Lives of Aerosmith, and of course I had to end it with a 9 Lives song that no one fucking knows.
And I'll be starting it with the 9 Lives.
Oh, all right, cool.
So-
And before we get back into that, we'll go into our hidden gems.
Still love it loud? So do we. Rock N Pod returns to Nashville on Saturday, August 25th. Over 25 rock podcasts from all over North America, recording on site. Vinyl and memorabilia dealers selling the best in rock merchandise. And awesome rock musicians and personalities participating in signing sessions and on-stage panel discussions throughout the day. Special guests include current and former members of Korn, Kiss, Angel, Winger, Loudness, Accept, Bang Tango, King Tracy, as well as producers that have worked with Slayer, Ozzy, Alice Cooper, Seven Dust, and many more. More guests being added weekly. Don't miss your chance to be part of an awesome celebration of all things rock. Rock N Pod takes place at the legendary Nashville Palace, August 25th, 2018. More details available at rocknpod.com. That's ROCKNPOD.com. The Nashville Rock N Pod Expo. Brought to you by Blind Tiger Record Club, School of Rock Nashville, and School of Rock Franklin, a DBG Productions event.
All right, let's crank up those hidden gems, people. All right, let's start with BB tonight.
All right. This is going to be my cheesy gem for the year.
Oh, God.
My hidden gem is going to be Aerosmith's album, Gems. Released in 1988.
That was a lazy pick.
But you have to... that's why I want our listeners to pick this up. You have to listen to this, the tracks on this. Rats in the Cellar, Licking a Promise, Chip Away at the Stone, No Surprise, Mama Kin, Adam's Apple, Nobody's Fault, Round and Round, Lord of the Thighs, Jailbreak, Train Kept Rolling. Most of those songs we've already talked about. What a kick-ass album that is. So if you are an Aerosmith fan and you want to get a little bit deeper in their library, here's a great album to start it off.
When they do Mama Kin, does Steven Tyler come on and say, "This song's about your fucking mother"?
This song's
I love that. I was listening to that the other day too.
Every time I hear that song, I think
I love
of
when
that.
it comes out. That EP. That's the EP, right?
It was. I think it was
Live
on-
Like a Suicide, wasn't
yeah,
it?
I think
it was
it
on
was
Live
on
Like
Live
a Suicide, then it was on Lies.
We're Guns N' Roses, sucker. Yeah. Hey, motherfuckers, we're Guns N'
You wanted the best, well, they couldn't fucking make it.
So here's what you get.
All right, BB. Okay, pick.
I already called it. I called it. That's my
Alright,
cheesy
I
pick
know.
for the year.
Wah, wah, wah.
You get one, you get one.
All right, Chris, what do you got, my friend?
Okay, so I'm picking this band not only because they're personal friends of mine, and not only because they are playing the after party for the Rock N Pod Expo. Yes, that is marketing, and Gene Simmons taught me well.
I
But
love it.
this is a band you should totally check out. And I don't know, Steve, were you at the pre-party last year?
Yes.
Okay, so you saw this band. I'm picking a band called Denman that's from Nashville.
Never heard of
And and they are the newest song that they've put out, which is produced by Michael Wagner on the album Raw Deal that's about to come out. It's a song called Higher. That's my hidden gem.
Well, let me tell you, I've touted these guys since we were there last year. BC and I were there last year. You know, we met you and Aaron and everybody down there. And I was absolutely fucking blown away by these guys. It was good to see a young metal band that like did original shit, and they did some Metallica too. And actually, they were the only reason that BC and I went to day 3 of M3 this year, because those guys were playing, and they play like in the middle of the afternoon. And just and the song is fucking great and awesome pick. And actually, I'm gonna try to talk to, because we had Dakota on on one of our episodes for an interview, and I'm hoping to get with him and Ben to do an interview once the album comes out, because I think it's coming out in September. I think they said. Awesome.
Yeah, I think you're right. Oh yeah, and I remember you telling me you saw them in M3, so that's my memory is shot right now. But
you know what? That totally makes up for BB's crappy gem.
Yes, thank you.
All right, awesome pick. All right, you win. But we'll go on with ours. Go ahead, Dylan.
My pick is a song I literally just found today. I was looking through a bunch of different covers that bands do of Aerosmith songs, and I came across, I think I was on like Your Song Sampled or some kind of site like that, and it said Van Halen did a cover of Last Child. So I clicked on this video, and it's like a 9-minute, 21-second audio video with like stills of Dave on stage, covering Last Child and The Rover from Led Zeppelin.
Right.
And it's a really interesting version to hear Dave try and sing Steven Tyler vocals. He does it weird, like with the start of each like verse, like you know how he gets like really high. He does that really weirdly. But Michael Anthony's background vocals are really good
phenomenal.
on it. And there's one part where it just like the guitar cuts out and you can only hear Michael Anthony's bass, but it still sounds phenomenal. And Eddie does an Eddie Van Halen solo instead of the Joe Perry solo. So it's interesting to hear a different take on Last Child in terms of guitar playing. But it's a cool version, so check it out. It's
You mean instead of the Brad Whitford solo?
Yeah, that's correct. The Brad Whitford did do the solo on that. So it's on Van Halen. It's called Van Halen Rarities Volume 6, Last Child, The Rover. It's on YouTube. VH Village was the username that posted that video. I don't know where it's from, when it's from. I think it's very early in their
Probably from someone's backyard.
in their runtime, but it's an interesting take on the song.
I'll have to check that out. Cool.
Yeah, I definitely know what I've heard this before. I want to say it came up in like one of those bootleg concerts, like live. It's not like it wasn't at the Rainbow. It was like live at O'Razzi's or wherever they used to play back. O'Gary's, that's it. It's probably off of something like that.
Yeah.
But great pick because it's a really, really cool album. That a lot of the covers they do on that. I wish I had it on my phone.
I would listen to it, but bootlegs are illegal, so I can't do it.
True.
Cool. Chris, have you ever heard that?
I have not. That's new to me.
Well, definitely. Dylan, you'll have to post that.
Okay.
BC.
I don't know what the hell I'm doing right now. I'm going to go back to the Alcoholic Years, Chapter 7, 1990, when hard rock music killed itself, in my book. But this band, Juliet, they're called. They were originally out of Tampa, Florida. They moved to L.A., and Kevin DeBrow, Quiet Riot, helped them out. And in 1990, they put their self-titled album out, which it's good groove rock, I guess you would consider it. I don't know, like their first song, Eight Lives Gone, it's just the groove. That song just kicks you out. And then they have other songs like Revving Me Up is a kind of radio-ish. And then a little bit of Party, which I don't know what that means, but and BC's theme song, Help. But right there,
I thought your theme song was Drink.
Both. Help. That comes after the.
He likes to open up with Drink and then close with Help.
Yeah,
That's on the that's the opening song on my theme song album, and the closing track on my theme song album. But
It's a concept album.
they came out with this and they toured, and I caught them opening up for some band somewhere, God knows where. It's very blurry, but and then, like I said, the music scene kind of shit the bed, and they got back together in 2004 and put out an album, and they released like not a greatest hits, but stuff that maybe
demos and stuff.
Was it released in 2009? Passion is what it's called, but cool band. Check them out.
Cool. I have heard them. Anybody else familiar with them?
No.
Oh yeah. They did. Isn't that the band that did the cover of the Joe Cocker song? They did. You Could Leave Your Hat On.
Yes.
Yes, yeah, and they had that, and like Tampa had a good little scene there at the late '80s.
Oh, Rock's
They
Gang.
had that, Rock's Gang, and
Young
what was
Turk.
the other? Was Nova Rex from that area too?
Rex
I think
Gang.
so. Yeah.
There was another band,
Yeah.
Young Turk. I don't think too many people know that, but they were out of Tampa too. came up
And they
here.
recorded up here. Yeah.
Carl Kennedy.
Rock's Gang and Young Turk, they recorded up here, just next town up from us. Cool. Good pick, BC. And I'm going to go with, I don't know if they're... Well, they were hidden to me. I had heard the name of this band before.
Metallica.
Yeah, and they have this awesome... Their best album is Ride the Lightning.
Yeah.
And
No,
but today I actually had an impromptu day off today. On my second job, the air conditioning was not working, so we had the day off. So I was looking for something different to listen to. I was listening to Aerosmith like until it was coming out of my ears, and so I just was looking for something different. So I came across this band, and they put out an album this year. They're a band called Powerwolf. The album's called Sacrament of Sin. I was absolutely blown the fuck away by this band. They have all they're like a power metal band from Finland, I think they're Finland or
Germany.
Sweden, Germany.
Yes.
There you go, one of them European countries.
Somewhere over there.
And but they're like I don't know, they're like a cross between like Hammerfall and Ailstorm. They're kind of sound like Ailstorm without them singing about pirates. But just a cool band. It just like the album was top to front, just like blew me away. So if you guys want to check it out, it's called The Sacrament of Sin, Powerwolf. But I wasn't like after listening to the first song, I'm like, are these guys like a really power metal like Striper? But they're not. They're like they sing about like vampires and werewolves and shit. But it's cool as fuck. So just check it out. It's a great rockin' album. It will tear the top of your head off. It is fucking excellent. Powerwolf, Sacrament of Sin for me. We have Juliet from BC. We have Gems from BB. Sorry. We have Dylan's bootleg of last Van Halen, the good Van Halen with David Lee Roth, doing Last Child. And Chris wins the day with picking Denman higher for his hidden gem, which you guys, seriously, I've been preaching these guys all along. If you like hard rock, you like metal, this is a new band to check out. And I believe their new album is coming out in September. It's going to be called Raw Deal. And when BC and I saw them, they did one of their newer songs. Did they do Higher? I don't think they did Higher. I think they just did that one song. They did a newer song. And this song was like almost like a thrash song. And it was like freaking phenomenal. Like we got off and like, holy shit, that was just like fucking incredible. Wow. And so check these guys out. Their album's coming out there. And there's our hidden gems for the week. We'll jump back into some Aerosmith. And Dylan, what's your next pick?
So like I said, I'm going to start off my fifth pick with a song from Nine Lives. This is a song that I actually do remember, unlike Crash. Attitude Adjustment. Starts off with like the cool, sped up, like weird part, and then it has this like stomping riff and just like a simple beat, but it's effective. The guitar work on it is really good. Definitely one of the I would say more hidden tracks from Nine Lives, maybe.
One of the more under the radar ones, I think.
Not as hidden as Crash, but still a good album and good enough to make my top 9, I think.
Crickets.
Okay,
What do you got?
I'm being polite. I have no memory of this song whatsoever, so I can't really help much.
I'm going to agree with Chris that I'm not too familiar. I'm not too familiar with the song, so.
Fine.
God damn it.
I see how it
Yeah,
is.
I'm gonna make it a hat trick. Right?
So I'm gonna say
Thank God Steve is here.
it is more obscure than Crash because at least Chris heard of fucking Crash. This is a good song though. I enjoyed it. It is one of the more under the radar ones. But like for some reason I don't know, this album didn't get a whole lot of traction. There's some really good shit on there. But like this album just didn't get the traction I think that it deserved. I think that is one of the newer Aerosmith albums that is like front to back like really good, and I think it's a good pick though.
Thank you. I'm glad somebody does.
All right,
Dylan, we stopped at 87. We didn't get to 97.
BC's already checked out of the hotel.
I had been born by then. 97 was 3.
All right, Chris, what do you got up next for us?
Okay, my next one's from the Gets Your Wings album, and I have John Corabi to thank for really solidifying my love of this song, because I saw him do it twice acoustically, and because he's a giant Aerosmith fan, and it sort of cemented my love for this song. And it's just a really well-written song. I'm talking about Seasons of Wither. I think this is it's a bit of a ballady tune, but reflective, and Steven Tyler said he wrote it, during a Massachusetts winter, and who knows what he was up to at the time, but I just love all the changes in the song. It's one of those songs where you listen to it, it feels like it transports you somewhere, and I just love it. So my number 5 song, Seasons of Wither from Get Your Wings.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. It does take you on a journey. It does transport you to the mindset that Steven Tyler was in. Not many Aerosmith songs get as reflective as Seasons of Wither. Like, some of the ballads do, but a lot of them feel a little contrived to me. But I think Seasons of Wither does come from like a place of truth that I really enjoy.
Yeah, for like a mellower tune, like you said, he reflects a lot, which God knows what was going through his mind at that time.
Or his veins.
Or his veins, or
Bloodstream.
what he doesn't make him a bad person.
Yeah, I love how they went acoustically on this song. It's it slows it down. It shows like a different perspective, especially this early in their catalog. How quick they can switch from kick your ass to let's slow it down and turn it acoustic.
I would like to see John Corabi do it. I mean,
That would be really cool to see John Corabi do it, and I know the song, but I'm not a huge fan of it. But it is cool, and I would absolutely be interested in seeing John Corabi do it live. And to tell you the truth, like if he started the song, I'd probably have to wait till it got a little bit into the song to say, hey, yeah, that's Aerosmith.
doesn't make it a bad person.
It does not. All right, cool though. All right, BC, what do you got up?
I don't know that song.
What was that? They don't do that.
That's off
They didn't do a
the
Jake break?
Is that a cover song?
That's off the new one that they did not release yet.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna go with I'm gonna go back to Rock and a Hard Place with the Lightning Strikes. I mean, granted, yeah, Joe Perry knows where.
Love that Kiss song.
It's a great Kiss song. I just like the way it comes out real mellow. It builds up. Dan, 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 dan. I mean, because to me, it catches you. I mean, I think a lot of people did give it a lot of love because they lost the guitar duo.
Yeah.
But still a good song.
That is one of the songs I do remember from Rock and Hard Place, and it's a good one. It's definitely one of the 2 songs that I legitimately like on that album, I would say. So, yeah.
Chris.
Oh, I like this song. I've always liked this one, and my friends that play in a band called the Rock and Roll Residency, they've played it a time or two, and I've always enjoyed it. It's a bit of a lost period for Aerosmith because, let's face it, they were at their worst heroin-wise, and Joe Perry was gone. And this song and Bolivian Ragamuffin both almost made my list, so I like that album a lot. I'll certainly take it over Done with Mirrors, but it's a good tune. The video is pretty cringeworthy. Watching Aerosmith try to be a gang, that's a little weird to watch. But the song itself is a good rock tune.
Yeah, definitely a good tune. So since we started with this, I could probably I'll keep the ball rolling with this one, and I'll go with Jailbait, the opening track for this song, for this album. I mean, I love the drums on this. The drums on this song really, really caught my ear when I first heard it, and it seems like that's what really brought me in listening to this the last couple days. I mean, it's nothing fancy. It's the way the drums, and it's just a really cool beat. And it's one of those songs that they open up the album with, but I think it's like 5 seconds, and boom, they're right into the vocals. There's really no intro to the album. It just boom, here we go. We're gonna throw it right at you.
All right, cool. I will. I'll comment on both of these here since.
God forbid you
Sorry.
let him speak.
Damn it.
No, that's okay. That's okay. We'll do a 2-for-1 here. Actually, we're gonna do a 3-for-1 because Lightning Strikes is on my list also. That's one that I absolutely could not leave off. I remember when this album came out. Rob, that's been on our show a bunch of times, he picked this up, I think, and I remember putting on like Jailbait, like comes on. It's like cool, excellent, like Lightning Strikes. The song that made my list. It's a building song. And he like starts kind of mellow, and then like at the end you get the lightning shot. Like he just like really brings it towards the end, and I think it's a great building song. And Jailbait is another great opening track for Aerosmith. They are a great band.
They are the masters of the opening track.
Yeah, they really have kick-ass opening tracks.
Yeah, those are the two songs that I like from the album. They're not bad songs in any stretch of the imagination. I can't quite defend the rest of the album as much, but they're good songs.
Chris?
Which song? Are you asking for my next pick?
Oh no, just BB picked Jailbait, so we'll just go right to that pick.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
No, that's all right.
I like Jailbait. I don't have a lot of deep thoughts on it, but I do like that song. I think Rockin' a Hard Place is a very underrated album.
I'm gonna have to listen to it a little deeper than I usually listen to the first 2 songs, put them on a playlist, and
I
move
mean,
on.
I understand it doesn't get that much love, but I think it's a good album.
I have to give it a little deeper thought.
Okay.
Cool.
So should I do my pick since you considered Lightning Strikes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead, Neil.
So my 6th song is off of Get a Grip Again. It's probably one of the first Aerosmith songs that I could remember hearing because they played it during Wayne's World 2 at Wayne Stock. It's Shut Up and Dance. Starts off with a cool whistle like intro. I love the groove of the guitar in that song. Steve's halting lyrics in like during the verses are kind of different for him. You know, love has got me down. Like it's kind of a cool departure from, and then he does a little bit of the fast lyrics leading into the chorus. Mm-hmm. So it's a nice variation on some of the stuff that Aerosmith is used to doing, and it's a song I don't think gets its due. So Shut Up and Dance.
All right, cool. Chris, this has got to be in your wheelhouse.
Oh, totally. I love this song. I've always loved this song, and it's I think Aerosmith in the early 90s, they get a bit of a bad rap, but I mean, if you're going to judge them on Crying and Crazy and Amazing, and not that I think those songs are bad either, but I mean, it's just they got overexposed during this time, and I think a lot of songs like Shut Up and Dance and Eat the Rich get unfairly slagged because everybody was so burned out on all the singles. So I think this is a great song, and I think it's got a bit of that old Aerosmith spirit to it. They didn't totally lose the old vibe, which I don't think they get enough credit for. I think you can find tracks on every album, although maybe not on Music from Another Dimension, but you can find tracks on most albums that have the old vibe to them.
I have to agree with Chris there. I mean, they didn't lose their vibe totally, but unfortunately, I think it was just the music scene at the time was pushing for the radio hit and the bow, and that's what they were forced to do almost, I think. Totally after that.
Yeah, it's funny. The other 2 guys that get a writing credit with this are Jack Blades and Tommy Shaw. So
Shaw's Blade.
nice little quadruple, songwriter on this song. So of course you're going to get a hit out of it.
Yeah, I think it's a cool song, and you're right, Chris. I think that they did kind of get pigeonholed for stuff like that, but there's a lot of songs that they really stayed true to themselves, and that it kind of got overlooked because of the songs that were pushed and put out there, the ballads and the poppier stuff. But there's a lot of quality stuff within those like late 80s, early 90s albums, and they did stay pretty true to themselves. All right, Chris, you're up next, I think. Yes.
Okay, so my next one, this has already been talked about, so I'll make it brief, but Lord of the Thighs from Get Your Wings. I love the 70s just dirty vibe of this song, and apparently they wrote it about pimps and hookers and just the shadier side of life, and Just the main riff of it with the it's a strange kind of offbeat type of riff, and then you include Steven playing the piano part with it, and the song goes different places. It changes a lot within one song. So, well, I know some people may say, well, it's their second album, they're still trying to figure out what their sound is. Just like with Kiss, because I've got to include Kiss in the conversation, I almost think bands are more interesting before they've found their sound, and I think Get Your Wings has a lot of moments like that where it's way more experimental than what you would get later on from Aerosmith, where they had honed in on their formula. So I think this song is a good, piece of that, and it's another one of those where it transports you back to the early 70s when you hear it.
Yeah, definitely. We talked about that before. Just great time changes, and I think my favorite version of that song is definitely on Live Bootleg.
Yeah.
It's just such a good version. All right, awesome pick. BC, what do you got for us?
I'm going to reach deeper now. I'm going to go with the Permanent Vacations, St. John off of Permanent Vacation. I love the groove of it. For some reason, it just has a St. John. Just the total groove of the song just attaches me to it.
Cool.
Yeah, this album started growing on me a little bit more and more because this later Aerosmith, they got so popular, and you're like, but a lot of these songs that didn't make the radio, they kind of grab you. St. John is definitely another one of the ones that stuck out today, and it didn't make my list, but it almost did. It's a really cool little riff that they have in a groove to that bluesy. What they used to be back in the early days.
This is the last album they did before they got really...
Before BC checked out of the Aerosmith
Unfortunately,
hotel.
I think they just got, they had to have the hits, and you can't blame them for that. But
all right, Chris.
My hat's off to you for picking this one, because it's definitely an under-the-radar tune, and this never comes up in conversation, so my respect for picking this song.
Good pick, BC. BB, right?
Let's stay here.
Okay.
Let's stay here in the Permanent Vacation world.
we could do it.
Let's go with Hangman Jury.
Nice.
This song it's like an Uncle Tom's Cabin feel to it. It's an old gritty bluesy rock tune. It brings you back to like a bayou place, and the shooting and stuff. And the lyrics, they just paint like a great storyline in your head through these lyrics, and the grittiness of it, like it just like what you said with St. John. Hangman Jury kind of hung me with this beat and the groove and the bluesiness, and it just love this tune. And this is probably my favorite song on the album, so it definitely made my list. Hangman Jury.
All right, Chris.
I never would have thought about this song, but this is just like St. John. This is another one that's kind of just, a lot of the 70s stuff kind of overshadows stuff like this, and I'm guilty, as you'll hear from the rest of my list, but this is a good song. And I wouldn't even think to pick this song, but it's a great one. I always like this one.
Yeah, this song always caught me as a cool song, and they actually did this live when I saw them. I saw them on the Permanent Vacation tour, and down in Pocono Downs. They played at a horse race track by us, and actually Guns N' Roses opened up for them on that show. And during that show, BC and I were at that show. We weren't friends at the time. We were both at the same show, and I've never seen so many people at a concert. Up to that point, it was just absolutely fucking jammed. And I remember Guns N' Roses coming out, and it was only, I think, like weeks after they played the show in Donington, where a couple people got crushed to death during their set in Donington, and they literally, like the middle of the second song, stopped playing and telling the people move back, calm down and shit, and they literally would not come back out to the stage until people moved the fuck back and stop pushing everything.
I do remember that now.
And
because
that was crazy.
That was chapter 12 of the Alcohol Years.
We're gonna call this the BC book episode. But And I remember they did this song live. They came out, they did like a big acoustic thing, and it was just like so cool for them doing it. I think it's a great pick.
Yeah, I think both of those from Permanent Vacation, again, overshadowed by the radio songs, the hits. It's an album that does well to a deeper listen if you
Exactly.
push past Ragdoll and Dude Looks Like a Lady, you know.
Right.
I mean, those are great songs, but,
Yeah, but-
there's even more if you keep digging.
Excellent pick, BB. I think that's a really great pick. And it's funny, Chris, that you should mention music from another dimension because that's where I'm going with my next pick. And I know
Oh my
it's
God.
I know it's a little bit of a weird or different listen,
There's gonna be
but
a second song
I
that
really
nobody
think
has any comments on.
there's actually a couple really good songs on there. The song that I'm actually picking is called Street Jesus. I think it's a fucking great rocking song. It harkens me back to Rats in the Cellar, just the vibe of this song, and I think it's great. I love it. I love the background vocals. I love the kind of jangly guitars that are in there, and this is definitely a song that reminds you of like classic Aerosmith, and I think that they really came through with it on this song, on this album. Couple other good tracks on that one. Love 3 Times. Oh yeah. Beautiful's okay. Legendary Child is actually pretty cool. That kind of reminds me of the
the lead
90s.
single, right?
Yeah, that kind of reminds me of the 90s, like late 80s, early 90s Aerosmith stuff. But Street Jesus, I'll tell you what, give that song a chance. It is a rockin' song.
I think Legendary Child's the only song that I actually can remember hearing from music from another dimension. I definitely don't remember Street Jesus. Sorry. I think I speak for the rest of the
Did you say
people.
Wooden Jesus from
Quicksand
Temple
Jesus?
of the
Quicksand
Temple of the
Jesus?
Dog? Oh, Quicksand Jesus, Skid Row.
Skid Row?
Yeah, don't know Street Jesus.
No.
Jesus, nobody knows Street Jesus.
I don't.
See, you gotta dig deep, people. Get that shovel out and dig in.
And once again,
only
Steve
so
picks
much
another
time.
gem for the day.
Yeah.
You got
Digging deep is the key phrase here. I'm sorry.
you got to keep in mind.
Wait,
That's your guys' assignment. I won't say homework.
Street Jesus.
That's your assignment. Check that song out. It is
say so.
kick ass.
Okay.
All right.
Steve Mataro's an American Idol judge by then, and I just checked out Aerosmith.
I know.
Oh,
Check
man.
it out, BC. All right, Dylan.
I'll check it out.
My next song is a song that definitely is more well known
About
than
your
Street
mother.
Jesus. It's off of, again, Night in the Ruts, Bone to Bone, Coney Island Whitefish Boy.
Nice.
Which a Coney Island Whitefish is a used condom, according to Steven Tyler. It's another song that's just straight groove, a nice Joey Kramer, some cool drum punctuation right at the beginning with the guitar that really goes well with it. It's a Night in the Ruts song, so you know it's going to be a good song.
That was the one that just made my cutoff spot there, but I agree with you. Just a good.
It was good. It is a good groove to it.
Even if
It's
it's
a
about
good
a
feel. And
even
now,
if it's
and
about
now
a
that you told me what it's about, now I want to go home and listen to it again. And just start
You're
like
gonna hear it
giggling
now.
like a 14-year-old.
Used condom.
All right, Chris.
I like that song. It certainly didn't make my list, but I never skip it whenever it comes on. But to go back to music from another dimension, I want to make it clear that album not only made me hate Aerosmith, it made me hate Jack Douglas on top of it.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Just
The left and the right hook.
All right, don't. You know,
other than that, I have no thoughts on it.
I'll say great pick, BC. I like that song.
It wasn't BC, it was me.
Or Dylan. I'm sorry.
Jesus.
I'm sorry. Hey, listen. It's usually earlier in the episode that I'm getting fucked up like this. So,
Later.
I think it's a great song. I love Steven's vocals on this song. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a halting song. Like
Yeah.
I like that. Good pick, Dylan.
Thank you.
Chris.
Okay, I'm kind of surprised this hasn't been picked yet because I think from this point on, my 3, 2, and 1 could really be interchangeable. It's hard for me to say that one of these is 3, one's 2, one's 1. So right now, today, my number 3 pick is from the Draw of the Line album. It's the song Kings and Queens. And I love this song, and I love how cinematic it is. It's one of the deeper tracks from Aerosmith from the 70s, and I think the guitar playing is incredible. Steven's vocal is just amazing. It's such an overpowering, dramatic track, and I've always loved it. So yeah, Kings and Queens from Draw the Line is my number 3.
Excellent pick.
Yeah, Chris, great pick. That is also made my list. I love how it's like Aerosmith, like power ballad-ish from back in '77. How it's just a great tune. How the pianos kind of start. It's a really, even the guitar solo in it is really good.
Is that an official pick for you?
That is on my list. That is going to be a pick for me.
I can never get past those initial vocal. I don't like what he does at the beginning with the long ago. It's kind of whining to me. I don't know. Sorry guys.
No, I know what you mean.
I couldn't get into Kings and Queens. I don't think Draw the Line is their best album to begin with.
I
agree with that.
I have a bucket of Aerosmith songs here, and that's in my bucket, but did not make the top of the bucket, but it's in the bucket.
I can be the cheese standing alone on this one.
You're not the cheese standing alone on this one. I was pretty unaware of this song until when remember when they did the Classics Live 1 and 2?
Yeah.
I'm not sure which one that was actually on. I
think it was.
And that was one of the songs that I was like, I don't really like this song. So Dylan, the cheese does not stand alone on this one. It's okay. But I see where you're going with it was like a power ballad before there was like that term was even invented.
Right. It's on the original Classics.
Yeah,
not the 2.
Not a huge fan of it, but it's okay. I can don't love it, but don't hate it. Usually skip it. But next time it comes on, just for BB and for Chris, I will listen to it all the way through next time it comes on. Even though it won't be making a playlist.
They were so coked out with that album.
They were so coked out, isn't it?
See, they were trying to be Game of Thrones before Game of Thrones came out.
Yeah, let's give them that one.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go back to the Pump album for my next pick. One of my last ones here. I do. Like I said before, I do like a lot of the stuff from there. And this is one that I'm going to pick a hit.
Oh, What It Takes?
No. I'm going to pick Love in an Elevator.
Second floor, hardware, children's wear, ladies' lingerie. Oh, good morning, Mr. Tyler. Going down?
I really think it's a great song. I hate the radio edit. I hate when they cut out that awesome kick-ass fucking time change part in the middle that is just kick-ass. But if I had to pick and it was like the radio edit one, it wouldn't even come in my top, 60 Aerosmith songs. But the song, if it's left alone as it is, Love in an Elevator, I just absolutely love that song. It's just I love it.
That is a pick of mine. So mark me down for Love in an Elevator. But I love the riff during that part. Like, that is such a cool riff. And when they do the going down and it just goes through your headphones, like, I love when they pan. Like, whenever an artist does like the panning in audio, and that's such a cool example of it. And the start, the start of it, second floor, hardware, children's wear, lingerie.
Mr. Tyler,
good morning, Mr. Tyler. Yeah, the music video is awesome. Yeah, you have Joey Kramer coming down in like the elevator drum set. Like, it's such a good song. It's catchy too, and like you could sing along with it. And there's amazing solos in it. And I also love the background elements of it too. Like the dissonant laughter during the one part, and like there's a lot of cool like it's really atmospheric, and it's a great song.
I'm going to have to admit, if you overlook the radio hit of it and shit, it's a good song.
Still a good song.
Yeah, I definitely love the video that came out with this.
The video.
To this day, every once in a while, like, oh, good morning, Mr. Chapman, going down. So, and it still sticks with you, all the way back from 1989. So,
Oh, yeah.
you know, it's really cool that you're still throwing stuff out like that. But
Yeah.
great pick.
And I love the penthouse popper. Like, that's such a cool phrase.
Definitely cool. Chris.
Oh man, this didn't make my list, but this song fucking jams, and it's you know, when Aerosmith's writing about sex, there's damn near nobody better. Steven Tyler can do a lyric on screwing better than just about anybody. But this is another showcase for Joey Kramer. Listen to the drumming on this song. It is just godly. It's some of the best drumming on a rock song you'll ever listen to, especially near the end where he starts doing that all the time. It is so awesome. And yeah, it's overplayed as hell, but I still enjoy listening to it on the radio. It's almost burnout proof. It's such a great song. They all just jam their asses off on this song.
Yeah, and I gotta say it's typical, you know, 90s production, but I love the production on Get a Grip and Pump. Absolutely, Bruce Fairbairn. People could say what they want for his production, whatever, but I think he totally kicked ass on production for those two albums. I think they definitely were working with the right guy at the right time, and I think he brought out like the best in these guys. You had a perfect mix of new and old Aerosmith on these two albums.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Well, since that was my pick, it's
okay.
It was my pick as well.
All right, BC or no, Chris.
Chris.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so we're down to my number 2.
Down to
Okay,
2.
so my next pick is from Toys in the Attic. It's a great song about life on the road by Aerosmith, and it doesn't get brought up nearly enough in conversation, but it's just a fun, feel-good song, and that's No More, No More from Toys in the Attic.
That is a classic. We have some bottles being thrown here in the Potter Than Hell studio.
I think you and BB collaborated on your picks today.
Oh, really?
Kick-ass song.
Well, BB, before we get into it, Chris, finish talking about it. BB, you can go first, and you can, if you want to use that as your pick, go ahead.
All right, well then, go ahead, Chris, finish up.
Oh, I've played this on Decibel Geek before. It's fun. I played it a couple of times, and every time I play it, I get all this great feedback for it. But it's just, I don't know, it's just a fun, feel-good 70s rock song. And Toys in the Attic is a great album on its own, but I think this is one of the standout songs from it, and it doesn't get the love that it deserves, but I think No More, No More is one of the better Aerosmith songs in the whole catalog.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with you. The actual song is about Steven Tyler was just getting sick of all of these one night stands and all these Holiday Inns, and it just almost bored him on the road when he was just sick of, he just wanted no more, and the lyrics really show that he's sick and tired of all these things that are going on the road.
Was he living in sin at the Holiday Inn?
That's what he said.
He was sick as a dog.
There's no Cher cameo, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's another good song from Toys in the Attic. I love the chorus of it. It might, at first I thought it was a kind of droning, but the more I listened to it, the more I became attuned to the no more, no more. Like it started to really hit my ear the right way. So I like it more than I did before, like a long time ago.
It grows on you.
Yeah.
I like the song, but I understand he was getting tired of that kind of lifestyle. But chapter 14 of the alcoholic year is BC would never get tired of it.
So now BC is living in sin at the Hampton Inn.
No, it's
Not quite as rock and roll.
Yeah. Motel 6 with BC.
Was
You
that
leave the land.
an official pick, BB? Or
Yes, it is.
Okay.
All right, cool. And like I said before, definitely my favorite Aerosmith album is Toys in the Attic, and that is just another song. It's just got such a cool feel to it, a good kind of groove to it, and I kind of agree with Dylan. Like when you first hear it, you're like, kind of drones a little bit, but then you're like, that's kind of the point of it. I think.
Yeah.
That it gets to that.
It's symbolic.
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
you're right.
Good pick, Chris and BB. So that comes to me,
BC.
right?
BC.
Oh, BC. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to Dome It Mirrors with the reason the dog has so many friends. It wags his tail instead of its tongue. like I said, I would make my whole list off this album, but I can't. But that's my number 7.
All right.
Son of a dog. Why is this not just?
I like it.
Jumping out.
That actually,
remember it.
I'm sorry to say, BC, it's not. It's probably my least favorite song on that album. It's a little slow for me on that one. It's good, but I mean, I think definitely an inside one on there, but it's not bad. Chris, I know you're not a fan of this album. Do you even remember this song?
I like it okay. It didn't make my list at all, but I think it's a decent pick.
BB?
Yeah, I don't know this one. This one isn't jumping out at me like the Hop did, but I'm gonna have to go back there and.
Well, the guy I work with is always talking about Doc, so that's why.
Doc.
Oh, God.
That's why it catches my ear.
Gotcha.
You're a victim of your environment.
There isn't a Doc.
All right, BC, since that pick was so fucking awesome, we're gonna let you go again.
Oh boy.
This is your number 8.
I'm reaching in the pocket here. Let's go with Nights in the Ruts, Reefer Head Woman.
Ooh.
From 1979, I mean.
Now that I know is a cover.
Is it?
It is.
How is this getting by me? Because I took like 3 songs out of here because they were cover songs. That's it, I quit.
BC says doesn't make it a bad song.
Doesn't make it a bad
great
song. I guess I love
Mr. Perry. So that is a bluesy song if ever there was one.
the blues is what I like about that. Pissed off. No, it's a cover song.
It's a good cover song, though.
Because I took off like 3 tunes that were on my list because they were cover songs. So, yeah.
That's okay. Hey, people consider, and I'm close to that. You really got me as one of Van Halen's best songs. I mean, it's a cover song. They made it their own.
I think you mean Happy Trails as a.
Yeah, that one too.
There were so many.
Yeah, they have a ton of covers on it. Now that I think about it, yeah, but it's a Night in the Rut song.
It's definitely.
I'd be really happy. It's not going to happen, but if we picked every song from Night in the Ruts, that would be great.
Night in the Ruts for Dylan is like Done with Mirrors for BC.
Yeah, because Rocks, that's everybody likes Rocks. It's a classic album.
Classic
but Night in the
album.
Ruts, it's such an underrated album.
Yeah. And when we're at the expo with all the vinyl, if you see Night in the Ruts, and I'll probably forget that I'm looking for it. If you see it, let me know because I need to pick that up on vinyl.
There's a copy at Embassy.
Is there really?
There is, yeah.
Oh, I'll have to get there. All right, where are we at?
We're at BB, I believe.
BB.
All right.
Oh wait, hold on.
No, we're not.
No, because you're
Here's an
already
edit.
on 8. So it's you then.
Me?
Yeah, you're the last person to do pick number 8.
Okay. I'm going to go back to the Permanent Vacation album. One of my go-to Aerosmith albums. Another Bruce Fairbairn jams, we'll say. And Heart's Done Time. Another great opening Aerosmith track. Steven Tyler, Joe Perry, and another Kiss tie-in. They co-wrote this with Desmond Child. And it's just a great song, and at the beginning you have the whales mating, I believe, is the beginning part that you hear all that little moaning and shit going on is apparently whales mating. But it's just a great song, and I think it sets the tone for this album. It's what I would call their second comeback album since Joe Perry came back into the band. But it's more of a modern sounding album than Done with Mirrors was, and I think it's a great start to the album. It's just excellent.
Yeah,
the background vocals are fucking great in that album.
It's another phenomenal opening track for Aerosmith. It's actually a pretty decent streak on, kind of a decent streak on Permanent Vacation, but it's a good start to what's considered their comeback album. I like it a lot.
This one definitely made my list. I mean, good way to start the album, and it's one of their first times with an outside writer, other than the band with Desmond Child. And I like the bass in the song. I mean,
bass is good.
When it comes to Aerosmith, I'm a drummer at heart, but I'm liking the bass when it comes to Aerosmith. Tom Hamilton's definitely underrated.
He was one of my influences. If I ever consider myself big enough to have influences as a bassist,
he's definitely on the list.
He just he walks in this pocket, and he and Joey Kramer have such good chemistry.
And like you said, they're so
behind the scenes almost,
Yeah, 'cause they're
because
like
you
Dwarfed
never.
by Tyler and Barry. So
Yeah, the Toxic Twins.
the Toxic Twins
take up the forefront.
spotlight.
Right, love it. Great way. Another opening track to these albums that we're talking about, and like everybody else said, Hamilton and Kramer just a great chemistry that they have, and you don't know them. They're not as popular as they're the people that stand behind the curtain and they're hardly ever noticed.
They're the George Harrison and Ringo Starr of.
Yeah, exactly, 100%, totally agree. But yeah, another great pick and another great opening song to an album.
Chris, what do you think of Hearts Done Time?
Oh, I love that song. That was on my also ran list also, and yeah, I remember getting Permanent Vacation and being pretty taken by that song right off the bat. I know Desmond Child. Some people from some fans of rock bands that have worked with Desmond don't think he's poisoned for that band because of their opinions of the early material. But you couldn't have matched up a songwriter and a band better than Desmond and Aerosmith. So I think some of the stuff they created was magic, and that song's another testament to that. I think Hearts Done Time is a great song.
Yeah, and the funny thing is with the co-writers they brought, they're even tying themselves in more with Kiss because you have Desmond Child, Jim Vallance, and Holly Knight writing stuff on this album.
Yeah, well, they kind of owned the 80s, didn't they?
Yeah, it's very true.
Absolutely. All right, where are we at, Dylan?
We're on the last pick for everybody. So.
We're on the last pick, so we'll start with you.
This is a song that I'm surprised it took this long to mention. I think it's one of Aerosmith's finest hits off of Rock's Last Child. A rare Brad Whitford solo. It's a kick-ass solo. It's got an amazing groove to it, and I love the yes sir, no sir, and the drums just punctuating it's so good. Like Joey Kramer, I think really shines on this song as much as Brad Whitford. It's a classic song on a classic album, Last Child. I don't know how we didn't talk about this before, besides me talking about the Van Halen cover of it.
I agree with you there. I mean, that's a great pick, a great album.
Yeah.
How can you go around like you said? No, sir, yes.
Yeah, definitely another Aerosmith iconic song, and you don't get sick of hearing this.
No.
Just turn it up and just let it run. Love it.
Chris.
I love this song, and this is such a subjective list because, like I said, I've got 10 songs aside from my top 9 that could have easily made the list, and this was one of them. No, this song is great, and it's Aerosmith summed up in 4 minutes, and Steven Tyler's full of piss and vinegar in this song, and it's just a great little grooving song, and that's my hat's off to you for picking that because it certainly deserved to be mentioned.
Great pick, and I have to say when I was on Kiss Cruise 6, we had Whitford St. Holmes play, and I got to meet Brad Whitford, which was an honor, and he was such a nice guy, very cool. I met him after, actually, they played their first set on the first night on the cruise, and Last Child was one of the songs that they did, and a lot of people, even I guess when this album came out, when they reviewed it, they totally praised Joe Perry for his lead guitar playing on this song, and it's Brad Whitford that does the lead guitar playing on this song, and he was felt totally vindicated that that was him, and they thought he was the guitar god Joe Perry, and I got to talk to Brad Whitford for briefly for maybe 5 minutes or so. Such a nice, humble guy, and the guy can still fucking bring it, man. The guy, he just friggin' tore it up, and I think I got to see him play 3 times on the cruise, and just a super nice guy, kick-ass guitar player. They did a mix of Aerosmith songs, Ted Nugent songs, and then Whitford St. Holmes songs. It was such a great mix of those guys playing all those songs, and Last Child is definitely something that I'm glad that Brad Whitford was able to be showcased on a song, and that is definitely an awesome pick.
I love it. I love it.
Great pick, Dylan. Excellent pick, Chris. Okay, here's your number 1, buddy.
Okay, so my number one Aerosmith song, and this will not change. I think this will always be my favorite Aerosmith song. And it goes back to the days of watching MTV in the late 80s. And I think it was even on Headbangers Ball that this got played. But I don't know what Greatest Hits album came out, but the version I'm picking comes from the live bootleg album from the 70s. And I'm talking about a song called Chip Away the Stone. This song is everything that I love about Aerosmith. It's got sleazy lyrics, it's got swagger in the guitar playing, it's got a great groove to it, it's got good harmony vocals on the chorus. It's just, this song is Aerosmith, especially from the 70s, personified. And I've heard it covered by other bands, and it's great every time I hear it. This is my favorite Aerosmith song ever.
Yeah, I think it is a really, really underrated Aerosmith song. I'm surprised that everybody kind of overlooks Chip Away the Stone, because it is like a kick-ass song. And that version on live bootleg is really good. I was always a latecomer to live bootleg, because I was like, the sound quality isn't stellar, but that's kind of the point of it. So I really did appreciate it, and that is a really awesome version of it too.
How can you go wrong with the, again, classic Aerosmith? Surprised they did come up earlier. Like Chip Away this time.
Yeah, love it. Great feel to the song, and it's just a classic Aerosmith. Just to show you the showcase of what they can do as a band. It's just amazing song, and noteworthy of being a number one on somebody's favorite album list.
Yeah, great pick, Chris, definitely. And I'm glad that you did pick the live bootleg version of it. That's always one of my favorite Aerosmith albums, like, you know, not even considering the studio albums. But, like, this definitely shows the transition of, like, Aerosmith from the studio to live. But it's just such a good sounding song. It's a cool song, just a good groove to it. And I think it's a great pick.
Thank you.
Awesome. BC, wrap it up.
I got so much here to see. I'm going to go back to Rocks. I'm going to go with Sick as a Dog. I mean, to me, that's just the song.
Chapter 18.
Chapter 18 of the Alcoholic Years of 75 chapters in my book. Sick as a Dog. Dog song, because I work with a guy that loves dogs. Don't have one. But okay, Sick as a Dog, no matter how many times this come on, just... Cat's God.
Don't worry, I'll play it for them. You don't have to. You don't have to sing it.
I'm trying to vent here. But that's what I'm going to finish off.
Yeah, great tune, iconic. One of their hidden gems. You know, if you don't know this song, people out there, please listen to this one. Sick as a Dog's a really, really cool Aerosmith tune from back in the day.
There's not a bad song on Rocks in my opinion, and Sick as a Dog is definitely one of the most underrated ones, especially Back in the Saddle and Last Child. And I personally like Combination. That's one that probably won't be brought up, but it's a really cool. But Sick as a Dog, great, just right in the pocket. Everybody's gels so well together. That's an album that they meshed so well, and you could really see it on Sick as a Dog, I think.
I agree. Well, when Sick as a Dog is considered a filler track, you know you're doing well.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, absolutely great pick. And that's another song that's freaking excellent on live bootleg. Another song that kicks ass on there. Good pick, BC. Way to wrap it up. And that's BC at the end of the night of fucking drinking. Sick as the fucking dog. Brain of the porcelain god. Good start, BC. Excellent pick. And BB.
All right. My last pick, I'm going to try to help Dylan out here. Oh, wait, my last two pick, I think I missed one. I think Chris brought this up before. Rats in the Cellar from Rocks. You know,
okay. Yeah.
Great tune, fast, and a harmonica. You know, sounds like this is the one that reminds me of Rainbow. But that was my number 9. My number 10, I'm going to help Dylan out with Night in the Ruts. How about we talk about a little Remember? And once again, it's another cover song. It was written by George Morrison. for the girl group Shangri-La Haas in 1964, but Aerosmith redid it in 1980. Great tune. I love the groove to it, bluesy-ish, harmonica, great guitar riffs in it. Just a combination of all of their abilities just come together as a band, and it's probably my most popular song on my list.
It feels like it's almost two songs in a way. Like it starts off with this like epic kind of like really cool, almost like Since I've Been Loving You type tune, and then like it's like a weird snapping chorus that you're like,
gone for 2
what
years.
the hell is that? But I really like the first part,
The first.
type of it, like with the Since I've Been Loving You type, like cool bluesy thing.
Yeah.
It throws me off when they start snapping, but the rest of the song is good.
I agree with Dylan there. The snapping part is different. Like
It almost becomes like a
Like a barbershop quartet.
yeah.
I'm gonna leave it at the barbershop quartet. All right.
All right.
Yeah. No, I'm not a fan of that song like at all. So sorry, BB. We're all
Walking in the sand.
remember. Okay. Now I'm like totally fucking thrown the fuck out here. I'm going to. There was a ton of songs I could definitely close mine out with. And even there's like Aerosmith, their band, like even some of the hits that aren't ballads for me are really good. So go ahead, Dylan.
Can I predict what you're gonna pick?
You can.
Is it I Don't Want to Miss a Thing?
It is. It is. How did you do it?
Shit!
You know me. I actually like that. I think Armageddon is a fucking cool movie.
Armageddon
is
is
a good
a
movie.
piece of trash.
Oh, come on.
like the movie?
Come on. Don't overanalyze shit. Just
overbloated
enjoy it.
And like
Just enjoy
But
it.
the
Ben
animal
Affleck-
cracker. He crawls up to her breast.
I know.
Ben Affleck is
The nipple. And he
Ben
turns
Affleck
and he
is
That was
bites it.
BB's home run song.
Ben Affleck is terrible.
Oh, come on, man.
All
Michael
right.
Bay's a hack.
Armageddon notwithstanding, I'm picking. I don't want to miss a thing. No, I'm not. I'm gonna. It's funny. We're sliding back to this album again and again. There's got to be something to this album, people. I'm going back to Night in the Ruts.
Yeah.
Opening track, No Surprise.
Oh, that is a good one.
Just a totally kick-ass, burn down the fucking house Aerosmith song. Rocking the fuck off of everybody, kicking your ass from the first track, and I think it's great. There's not one part about this song that I don't like.
Details the history of the band. Talking about
Pretty
them
much, yeah.
breaking at Max's Kansas City, and just like it's a cool song, and it is the perfect song to end your list because it is like the band looking back and saying, "This is how we got here. This is how we made it." And it's almost like it could have fit on like the first two albums. It has that kind of similar sound to it in terms of almost like an old rock and roll type style to it. I think it's a cool song. I always love when bands look back and talk about themselves, but in a cool way, like No Surprise did.
This one, another one that me and Steve agreed on. It's on my list, and
Yeah.
you can't go wrong.
Yeah. I'm looking here. I think we only missed two songs off this album.
Yeah. Mia.
Cheesecake and Mia.
Yeah.
Cheesecake is good.
I do like cheesecake.
Cheesecake is good.
Yeah, I almost picked cheesecake.
So Night in
It
the
shows.
Ruts.
It shows you.
It's a classic, people. Listen to it.
Damn it.
Chris.
I love that song. I think it's a good bookmark for kind of the first segment of their career. So to end the '70s, that's a song where they did dig back in and get the original magic back during that a very turbulent recording session, from what I've read. And no, I think that's an excellent pick for a number one. So yeah, my hat's off to you for that one.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, I wanted to go out. I wanted to go out with a good rockin' song, and that was I was going through. I had a couple different ones I was looking at, but I didn't want to go with a mainstream hit type song. And so all you guys out there, if you're a casual Aerosmith fan and just the in quotations hits, the Walk This Ways and the Amazings and the Cryings and stuff like that. Dig into some of these deeper tracks. They're just a great American rock band. When you think of American rock bands, you think of the top ones you're going to think of. You're going to think of Aerosmith. You're going to think of Van Halen. You're going to think of Kiss.
Even though they're from, they are not from America, but
who?
The Van Halen brothers.
Don't get me with that shit. They're a fucking American rock band. Van
Pasadena, California.
Van Halen, Aerosmith, Kiss. They're like and you can even throw Cheap Trick in the mix there. They're like great American rock bands. And all these bands, they started in the 70s, and these guys were the bands that were the pathfinders, if you will, for the bands that came in the 80s and the 90s, and bands that are still coming out now. They will cite these bands as influences to them. So dig a little deeper in their catalog. Check out some of these songs like 3 Mile Smile, Chip Away the Stone, Crash, if you will. Please, people, check it out. It's a great song. Lightning Strikes, Jailbait, The Hop, Adam's Apple. Check out the deeper tracks in these albums because they're just good songs. Just because you don't hear them on the radio all the time doesn't mean they're a shitty song. And you will hear more crappy songs on the radio than you will hear good songs. Dig deep into these albums, and we're glad you guys listen, and we're huge Aerosmith fans here. A lot of these songs we had in common together when we picked them, and that's for a reason, because we're music fans, and we dig deeper into the albums, and we really like a lot of these songs. And we'll go around the table here once. We'll start with Dylan. We'll go to Chris, BCBB, and we'll give our final thoughts on the episode. And Chris, when we come to you, give a good plug for the expo, give a good plug for Decibel Geek, and let's do it. Dylan.
It's easy to get lost in the hits of Aerosmith. There's a lot of them, and you could really drown in them. But there are a lot of really awesome, underrated albums, let alone songs, of Aerosmith that if you really just look a little beneath the surface, you can find a whole treasure lode, a Pandora's box, if you will, of Aerosmith songs. And the Bad Boys from Boston, they're a classic American band, just like you said, Dad.
The Toxic Twins.
And they're still going strong in the eyes of the radio to this day. Steven Tyler now has his country career. But they're a classic band that has a ton of recognition that they deserve, and I'm glad that we're able to talk about them on this episode. Chris?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. The Aerosmith's one of the handful of bands in my universe where if I listen to one or two songs in a row of this band, I know what I'm listening to for the rest of the day. They're just a band that once you get that little taste, you start diving into the whole catalog. And I love deep tracks, and I think we showcased a lot of really good deep tracks tonight. So I think if you're new to the band, you only know the hits, check out what we showcased tonight and really dig in, because there's way more to Aerosmith than just the radio hits, way more, and I prefer more of the non-radio hits. But as far as the expo goes, just go to rocknpod.com and you can get details on the entire weekend. But Steve and you guys are coming down to Nashville, and I'm excited to hang out with you guys this year. And we've got almost 30 podcasts as of now coming from all over North America to hang out, meet each other, record episodes on site, record with some of the awesome guests that are coming. We've got guests that you grew up listening to. We've got producers that worked on albums you grew up listening to. We've got panel discussions. We've got autograph signings. We've got concerts before and after. It's going to be a true 3 days of awesomeness. And if I survive the whole 3 days, it'll be great. But I look forward to seeing you guys, and I can't thank you guys enough for having me on your show. You guys do a great show, and I appreciate coming on and talking Aerosmith. It's been fun.
Thanks for coming on.
Thanks for coming on, Chris.
Absolutely. BC, what do you got for us?
Again, hey, Aerosmith is a band that's been around for almost 40 years, or probably more than 40 years.
More than that.
Right there alone says enough about them that they've been around that long. They're not just a flash in the pan.
Yeah, 45 years. And what I love about these guys, they're so tight, and they bring in horns, and they Tyler would play the piano or Tyler would play the harmonica. There's so many elements to this band, and there's such a different vibe of each song. You know, they have some heavy songs, they have some lighter songs, they have like a bluesy song, and their catalog is just endless of this blend of great American music that it stands the test of time, and you know, being together for all these years is just mind-blowing.
Yeah, absolutely. Aerosmith, they're a band. They're always in our wheelhouse on this podcast. There's so many bands that we talk about, that we will talk about, we have talked about, that Aerosmith is one of their major influences and inspiration, and they're definitely a band that, you know, if I do a playlist, there's definitely going to be at least 5 to 10 Aerosmith songs in any kind of playlist I play. You guys, like we said, check out the deeper tracks. There's much more out there than, you know, Walk This Way and, you know, the songs you hear on the radio all the time. Dig a little deeper, check them out. And let me thank Chris personally for coming on the show, spending his time, because I know he's extremely busy with stuff with the Rock N Pod Expo, Decibel Geek, and I want to thank Chris and Aaron Camaro, his partner on Decibel Geek. You guys are definitely an inspiration to fledgling podcasts like us that we've been out there. Like I said, you guys are one of the reasons that I wanted to get into podcasting. I wanted to, you know, our opinions and voices to be out there, and you guys put on an excellent show. You guys are not like, you know, you're not rude and you don't rip people down. And I mean, I know we rag on Peter Chris sometimes, and you know, we do that on this show, but it's all in good fun. We love Peter Chris. We're huge Kiss fans here, but you guys do a great job. You guys are an excellent podcast. You guys are very classy. And, you know, I enjoy listening to you guys weekly. And with doing this podcast, and I'm sure, Chris, you could probably agree, you don't have a lot of time to listen to a lot of podcasts. And as much as I used to before we started doing this show, and you guys are definitely one that I don't miss every week. And they're, you know, guys that we've had on this show, I listen to their podcast religiously. But it's just it's a great community. And you guys doing the Rock N Pod Expo is such an excellent thing to get everybody together. And I feel that, you know, meeting you and Aaron and guys like Sonny Pooney and Stephen Michael and Joe Polo and Jody Havnot and guys like on the other podcasts I listen to, I feel that I've made lifelong friends just through this medium. And it's great. I mean, I've been texting back and forth with you for a couple different things and about the expo and just about general stuff like that. Mark Anthony K, we've had him on our show with this Project Gemini, and I think it's just a huge family, and it's a great community, and it's very encouraging to everybody else. No one is trying to, you know, put the other guy down for the most part. I'll say, BC, you want to say something? Go ahead.
I was going to say, I mean, this time last year, this was the original Rock N Pod was coming out, and Steve's like, "Oh, we're going." I was like, "Yeah, why not?" And like the whole podcast thing was kind of new, and then once I got out there and we met all these other people, and like you said, there were so many cool people, and once you got into you knew that this world existed. It was an eye opener for me, at least.
Yeah, well, I appreciate the kind words, and it's been great getting to know you guys, and I look forward to seeing you all in person again in a few weeks.
Absolutely, and I want to say thank you one more time, Chris, and everybody out there. Please check out Decibel Geek Podcast. These guys, they've been going forever, and they have some awesome. When I listen to these guys, I kind of wanted to model this podcast, sort of how theirs was. I didn't want to do the same thing every week and do different stuff about different bands, and these guys do a great job. And you know, we want to thank everybody for listening out there, and share us. And check us out. And we are up for the Steamtown Music Awards as the best podcast. What was it, Dylan? Go ahead. You're better at this than me.
Best podcast or best radio show of the year. We're up against some pretty tough competition, and we need your help. Just give us a like on Facebook, and right at the top of our Facebook page, the poll is pinned to the top. So if you just give us a vote, we would surely appreciate it. And thank you for those who have already voted. And the support you've shown is staggering. And we really appreciate that you guys are trying to help us achieve something, because we want to bring metal music to our local area and beyond. And this award would definitely help us do that.
So get out there and pod the vote.
That's right. And before one more thing before we wrap up. Sorry for keeping you guys so long. There are perks that we have for the Rock N Pod Expo 2. You could donate to these guys. Anything you donate goes to the funds of these guys putting this awesome expo on. You can pay $5, you get a shout out from us. We'll say your favorite bands. You can pay $10, you get a shout out. Give us an album to review and we'll do it. $20. Pick a topic for us to talk about. We'll talk about it and we'll send you a prize pack in the mail. $40. Pick an album for us to review. We'll do it on air. We'll review it with you on the air, and you receive a prize pack in the mail. And if you want to go for our deluxe package, we'll call it $50. Pick a topic and join us on the show. You can be part of the show, and you receive a prize pack in the mail also. And you guys will be on an episode with us. And Dylan will have the link posted on our episodes when we do it, and you guys can just click on that and donate. All right, you guys, thank you. Thanks, Chris, BB, BC, Dylan. This is the first time we've had everybody together in one room for a while here, and we will definitely check you out next time, and there will be a next time. And as you see, we crossed swords, if you will, on a couple of these songs here.
That's not crazy.
What the hell was that?
On some of these songs, we kind of, cross songs here on some of these. I'm like totally fucked up. Don't totally cut this fucking part. I'll start to fucking laugh.
Watch out for the sword.